William Shatner's TekWar. Is there anything that needs to be said about this game? Because, well, we're going to probably be spending however many hours talking about just that. Anybody have any choice words to say about this game before I start playing it? Hello? Uh-oh, did the call just bomb out?
I'm here. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
TekWar left me speechless. Thus, I could not say anything about it.
Oh, I was, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said after the music was done you guys could unmute, but it doesn't matter now, so.
This call's going to be full of errors, isn't it?
Well, let me put it to you this way. Let me put it to you guys this way. This is the livecast you guys have been dying to see because we had to postpone it because I was puking my guts out the last weekend, so that is what this game did to me. It made me puke my guts out.
Yeah,
Literally.
it was bad juju.
Actually, it was a bad case of meat.
Well, yeah, it was food poisoning.
Seems
But
cursed by William Shatner himself.
Yeah.
the ghost of William Shatner has visited us all, and he has said he does not approve. So,
Like this game, like every single facet of it builds up to an all-devouring black hole of bad luck.
although I will say this, William Shatner was at least nice enough to try to negotiate us via Priceline. So
Yep.
he wanted us to negotiate us a better rate.
Oh, hey, JoJo.
All right, how's the level on mine?
Sound okay to me.
Yeah, sound good.
Yeah, it sounds okay.
Good enough for government.
good enough for government work. Man, when I not heard that?
I have no idea where the hell that phrase came from.
So,
I don't know.
should we maybe say what TekWar is for those of us just joining us?
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah.
We might as well explain
life.
what exactly this end product that we are going to be playing, or I am going to be playing tonight, is. So, okay, imagine this: famed actor William Shatner decides to write a science fiction novel. Only he's not technically writing it; he's ghostwriting it. He's giving input to a writer, and it's not just a book; it's actually a series of pulp books. That got spun off into a television show, and ultimately the game we're going to be playing tonight. What is the TekWar actually about, though? I can't answer that because I've never read the books or seen the show. I can only tell you what I know based on the game, and apparently it's an unfinished buggy mess where if you set the cycles too high on DOSBox, you'll jump so high you hit the ceiling. The jumping in this game, like all of Capstone's build engine games, is one of those weird things that seems to glitch out when the frame rate is uncapped or the cycles are uncapped. And TekWar's not the only game, like I mentioned. Witch Haven has that problem too. It's really strange when you're trying to play that game at max cycles because it runs better and jump, and then you hit the ceiling.
Games that weren't licensed?
Yeah, actually, they did a few games. They were all first-person shooters, though, I think. You had Witch Haven. You had the sequel to Witch Haven, something, Revenge of the... I don't remember what the subtitle is. You had Corridor 7, Operation Body Count, and a canceled game called Fate. That is probably actually their best game that they never actually were able to finish. They actually went bankrupt before they could release it, so I guess that's the biggest irony of all.
Is Witch Haven 2 Blood Vengeance?
Yes.
Which is a very 90s title.
It's actually worse than the first game. The first game's actually pretty good, but the second game has really weird ice skating physics, and it doesn't run as well. It has some other issues, notably the difficulty. Enemies do way too much damage. It's ridiculous. Is my mic coming through on the stream, by the way? Because if it hasn't been, I am going to be very sad.
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
It is, yes.
Good.
For government work. Okay, now I get paid every time I say that.
No, you'll get 2 broken kneecaps every time you say that. And if you don't have any kneecaps to break, we will find some for you.
Good luck, because my legs are made of pudding.
Is that a reverse compliment to yourself?
Tell me.
Will of Iron, Knees of Jello.
Let me know if I'm being too weird for this stream. I just figure we're going to be goofier than usual because
this was our April Fool's joke game. We initially had a regular poll open.
Now it's our May Fool's joke game.
Yes.
So I have to ask now, why is it every time that we think we're pulling a prank on the people who are voting, why is the April Fool's joke always end up being on us?
Yeah, we are not clever people.
They're masochists.
Because that's what happened last year when we said, oh, it's going to be Home Improvement.
Well, now we've been dealing with those guys on the board for like the last year.
Where's that echo coming from?
Joestar, you see him turn into a robot.
No, I'm messing around with this new toy I got. So
He inherited
Actually, I
the voice
kind
of
of
the
like that
Legion.
effect. We could say that you're
Yeah.
trapped in the internet or cyberspace.
No. He's trapped in the Phantom Zone. He's speaking to us, courtesy of
yeah, I'm
General
trying to
Zod.
mess around with some of these.
So-
Pokey got addicted to tech.
Okay, Jojo, you're the only one here that's actually watched TekWar. I take it, right?
I really just don't. I don't remember too much, but
I just remember it had the guy from BJ and the Bear and My Two Dads, and he played this guy, and I think he got see, that's the thing, I don't remember very much about TekWar. I remember watching the other TV shows more, there was this other one about an Asian guy and his dead brother. It was called Vanishing Sun, and then there was Hercules started on that show. Just a whole bunch of things. Time Tracks. That was another one that got a bad license.
I remember that
game.
show. Yeah.
The licensed game was actually never released, though. Interestingly, but this was part of some sort of syndicated block of television. I take it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was called the. Sorry, I keep messing with this. It was called the Action Pack, and it was they had 4 or 5 different shows, and they would show them on Saturday night or Sunday night. This is around 1994 through 96, maybe.
Yeah.
But then, most of the shows got canceled, but then Hercules got picked up. Hercules kind of started as a couple of movies. They had 2-hour TV movies, and there was probably 5 or 6 of them. And then that started as kind of a special feature on the Action Pack block. But yeah, with TekWar, it was about. I just remember that basically there's this guy, and I think his brother got killed or something, and it was all involving this this drug called Tech, and they never really went into what exactly Tech did. And that's the thing. I still don't know exactly what happened. But anyway, he goes to work for this super trillionaire played by William Shatner to go hunt down and stop dealers. That's pretty much it. That's about all I remember.
And yeah, that's the game. Actually, the plot of the game's a little bit different. Apparently, you were a cop that really messed up along the way, and you were frozen. And then you were unfrozen by William Shatner, and he's like, "Yeah, could you basically kill a bunch of a bunch of these futuristic drug lords? Because if you don't, I'm going to freeze your ass again." He always threatens you. Even if you're really successful on a mission, it's how would you like to go back to the ice block or whatever? And it's shut up. Just shut up, William Shatner.
Yeah.
I don't need your sass.
Shut up.
I've been playing this bad FPS for so long, I don't need your sass. I should note the cutscenes in the game are glitchy. They apparently use a feature in DOS that is not emulated in DOSBox, in that they will play fine at lower cycles, but at cycles that are far, far too low to play the game. So there must have been some sort of dynamic cycle allocation or something. I don't know if the actual full-blown game, like the regular game played on an actual DOS computer, has that issue on faster processors. I can't say. But I know if you set the cycles above about 50,000 or so, there's a good chance that none of them will play. And I imagine some of them still won't play tonight. It'll get really choppy. And I don't just mean William Shatner's acting, so...
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they really played that badly on real hardware.
It might or it might not. It's like the cycles issues I noted with the jump physics and whatnot.
Yeah.
For whatever
fair-
reason, max cycles causes these games to crap their pants pretty much.
The cutscenes probably aren't worth it on the whole. I think they're just William Shatner either admonishing you or chewing you out for killing too many civilians.
Yeah.
So it's probably about high time I got this show on the road. So let's crack open my
You saved off your
DOSBox game
inevitable punishment
launcher.
long enough.
This is gonna
You
hurt.
can see all the games I have. I actually have to close out of Dropbox real quick. I just realized I had that open.
Hey,
Thanks to
Xerxes
Dropbox.
just popped up.
Ah,
All right,
nice.
let's time in.
Yeah, okay.
Where is William Shatner's TekWar? There it is. Now, DOSBox has a
also-
fine habit of starting up in a random location, so I actually have to move the window where the little crosshairs are, and there we go.
Also, I would like to give a shout out to anybody who happens to be listening. Apparently, I just found this out. There's a book called Shatner Quake that involves every other William Shatner character getting together to try to kill the original. If anybody knows if his TekWar character shows up in it, I want to know about it because I'm going to find this book and read it sooner or later.
Can you do live reading? 'Cause I want to hear this.
If I can find it, yes. That sounds absolutely amazing.
Actually, I have 4 words to follow up on that. William Shatner's Gonzo Ballet. That is an actual film that...
So this is the intro from the show, right?
Yeah, I assume. I have to turn down the volume, otherwise you won't be able to hear the host, so the game's going to be quiet, sadly. I will tell you when... Oh god, William Shatner.
Nah, just me.
No. Hey, Xerxes.
Hey, Xerxes.
Yep, what's up, dude?
Welcome back, my friends, to this show
Sorry.
that...
Also, I'd like to point out at this time, if you know anybody else who doesn't remember this, that set that he was standing on is actually from the show Rescue 911.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is that.
Actually, I'm going to have to
It
crank
is
up the
Rescue
volume so you can
911.
hear the cutscenes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I should have...
For here are some tech realities.
I think the gimmick with tech as the drug was like... It was like installed into your brain somehow. Which I don't really understand the physics of how that works.
Maybe in the
I don't
future
know,
people... Oh, sorry. You're gonna say?
I was gonna.
Well, the way he said take tech and die was like the most humanly awkward way you could say it. Take tech and die.
CGI.
You're going to be seeing a lot of CGI in this game, at least towards the latter half, assuming I can even beat this live. I don't believe I can. It's that bad.
The
It's
curse of the
painful.
streamer.
Oh wow, look, we're actually putting it into our computer, and then there should... Okay, when you close out the game, you should be popping the disc back out and then shooting it with a gun. So that's what the cutscene should be.
Oh, this show ain't no good.
See, I'm going to have to do some fiddling with
So
the,
we doing this?
Yeah, we're doing it.
is,
We're streaming it right now,
Actually,
live
living
for
the
everybody.
dream. Living the
Oh
dream.
my god.
This intro is way longer than it has any right to be. Wow.
Yeah.
So
Caps
apparently,
thought really highly of themselves, didn't they?
The pinnacle of entertainment. The pinnacle.
The pinnacle.
I'm looking up this book now on TV tropes. The Shatner Quake one. Apparently, there is a bizarro world where William Shatner's fans are like the greatest fans in the world, and they actually have to fight Bruce Campbell's fans for superiority. Apparently, all of Bruce Campbell's fans have cut off their right hands.
I want to read this. This sounds great.
And
Who wrote it?
Let me see.
So is this one of those things that
Doesn't
like
say.
was it like a licensed book, or was it something like, you know, Come for Bigfoot, where like somebody just wrote it and published it on Amazon?
I think it was the latter. I'm not really sure though. Still looking into it myself.
Or I'm sorry, Moan for Bigfoot now.
Oh, here we go.
Yes, there's a very burgeoning genre of fiction known as Sasquatch erotica. You can find it all on Amazon.com. I actually probably didn't even use the word burgeoning, right? But that's okay. Just know there's Sasquatch erotica. That is a thing.
Oh no, I think you did. I think
we
you
going
did.
for some squatch
right.
grabbing around here.
Did you find out about this on Worst Things for Sale?
Yes, I did. That's a great blog, by the way.
Oh dear.
So this is our character right here. We are a CGI turd being shot up with something from a robot.
Yeah.
Customers who bought this item also bought Night of the Living Trekkies, The Haunted Vagina, and Ass Goblins of...
What?
Oh.
What?
We've set
I suppose you're wondering why you're here.
hit of the universe,
simple.
haven't we?
I-
Yep.
Amazon, I don't even know.
I feel like
You've
that
already
last
figured out that
one
if this
is
weren't
just so
important, you'd still be in
intentionally
cryosleep, so I'm
awful
not gonna
that it
waste your
almost
time.
doesn't
More
Yeah.
importantly, mine.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure The Haunted
Last
Vagina
month.
is too.
Miyoshi,
I've seen that one turn
That
up in
could be
so
a
many lists.
badly
while
translated
sailing on
title
40
to a
wind
foreign
cruiser
movie.
around the world.
You have to get out of here. Your vagina is haunted.
Just
Nikolai
Well, I mean, it
Gage
sounds kind of almost
suddenly
like
left
a
his lab.
trauma
I've
film,
not
except they,
seen or heard
you know,
from him
that
since.
the word
It's
vagina is a
occurred to
little
me that
too
the
polite for
disappearances were
them.
no
So
accident.
This deliberate
Already.
troll title reminds me of a certain
Nakahara
band who I
is a
can't
Nobel
mention on
Prize
here
winner
without
for
getting
cybernetics.
bleeped in post. They start with an
Rush.
A and end with a T.
They start with an A and stand or end with a nail. Yeah, I'm not going there.
It's Apple Cart.
The worst thing to hit the
It's
city is the
no,
quick
it is actually legitimately a book about a vagina that is haunted.
Yes, there's like I said, there is this huge burgeoning like genre of erotica you can buy off of Amazon, and it's separated into separate subgenres. Like you have Sasquatch, you have centaurs, you have Sasquatch making people gay. That's another one.
Back on ice.
This one actually has this one actually has page quotes in it from Cory Doctorow and Christopher Moore.
Oh, good. The game started.
Yep.
We'll talk about that now.
And Christopher Moore actually likes it.
So yeah, these are all the losers I have to go out and kill, pretty much.
Okay, so you're gonna kill Edward Norton first, right?
Which one?
He's the one.
on
So
red
you've
level.
got smoking jacket, trench coat, vest, trench coat, vest, trench coat.
And we have to. The seventh target is Alec Trevelyan.
Seems everything's in order here.
The next to last one, Miles Connor. I want to say that's the graphic that Weasel used in his terrorists mod for Albert Wesker.
Alfred Wester. You mean.
Or yeah, Alfred Wester. Excuse me.
Oh, Miles O'Connor or Miles Connor. I keep wanting to call him O'Connor.
I'd like to know if every stupid like tech thriller has to have a character named Janice.
No,
I
no.
think the answer is yes.
Yeah, I mean, Goldeneye
I
did
think the
it.
answer might be yes.
Oh, this cutscene
Janice,
glitched out.
like having a character named Janice in your tech thriller of the 90s is like today, like the equivalent of today having Rising or Rise of in the title of your game or movie.
Or Rises.
Peering at Kojima.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, that's not limited to tech thrillers, too. Yeah, that was actually the name of Dracula. God damn it. Let me talk about Dracula.
Yeah, I jumped through the window of the trade. I wasn't trying to do that. That is something that can happen, but what I was trying to do is jump. I was trying to jump on front of the trade to actually bypass the whole subway sequence, but no, I jumped through the window instead. Oh, it's this rent-a-cop.
What does it mean when it says was an android or was a hologram?
Okay, Bob, and everybody else in the call, really, or anyone who hasn't played this game. Okay, so there's two things that can happen in this game. Okay, sometimes you'll be walking around town and you'll see average citizens like this woman right here, just walking around, and you'll hear exploding like laser sounds from her. It's just like pew pew. Like you'll walk up to them and they explode. And it turns out some of the people in this town are actually androids, and you have to shoot them if you hear them making laser noises. Holograms are the same way, except they're the boss enemy, except they're invisible or semi-transparent, and they don't hurt you. They just make annoying sounds.
So you're supposed to terminate them, kind of like Blade Runner?
Yeah, you're supposed to kill all the people, all the bad people, pretty much.
So here's the question I have then.
I think that's a horrible thing to assume that all androids are evil.
Yeah.
It is, yes, but
I think it's great.
Daft Punk would have a few words with us.
Were there even androids in the show or in the books or anything?
I don't remember. I don't remember them. I just remember William Shatner on the set of Rescue 911 and
talking about being Walton Bascom.
Full disclosure, I have not read TekWar.
I don't think any of us here have.
None of us have yet.
This is the first I've heard of the whole thing, so
that was what made that funny, is that nobody would read TekWar. that was the point. Like,
let me tell you,
as soon as they,
let me tell you, Shatner set the bar real low.
I think like the problem with it isn't that it's not like it's not that Shatner was involved. Like, I think William Shatner is awesome, and his endorsement of. But the problem is that it's such a by the number. Did you just get hit by the train again?
That's actually a way you can skip ahead. It's there's a speed run of this game. There's a guy that can beat this game in 17 minutes, and that's his trick. Is he jumps in front of the subway train and it jumps on the little ledge in front of it, and he can skip like waiting for the doors to open and close and everything to stop.
And that's even with all the mumbo jumbo later on.
Yeah.
Can't help you skip the drudgery of the Matrix, but that is a neat little trick.
Oh yeah, that's something we should mention.
Maybe a little too soon. I just realized something. None of us have introduced ourselves, although I'm not sure if we want to, considering
yes, I am your host, Snarbu.
I don't know you people.
No, you know us full well. You wouldn't be sitting in this call talking to us if you didn't.
Ich bin ein Jelly Donut.
Hello and welcome to Easy's Playhouse, you stupid motherfucker.
Hey, you gotta edit some of that.
Also, I'm real
Which
life
part, the
actual
Pee-wee's
William
part?
Shatner.
Some of it.
I can't tell what effects I'm using, by the way, because for some reason my monitor's not working, or the sound monitor. I'm trying to out some new.
Right now, you just sound like yourself. So
Yeah.
No, I know, but how do I sound now? Do I have a reverb?
Same.
no.
Also, I'm Satanga, and Star Trek V was better than Star Trek Nemesis.
I like those fat raver chicks. Those are the enemy cracks me up so much. You'll see it in a minute.
Also, I am the real life actual William Shatner.
I'm trying to. Oh yeah, here we are.
Sound different.
I am definitely not Mr. Argent.
Okay, which one of these doors will take me to the
Listen
wall?
to this Fortescue.
Actually, I'm Zenith being badly emulated on a 386 computer.
I am not Bobinator because Bobinator would not involve some of these people.
Also, my question is, something I noticed the first time I played this is how are you supposed to find out that keypad? So it took like 10 minutes to find that.
I don't know.
You just
Very
stumble
carefully.
upon it, like you get drunk and then fall in it, and your nose just hits the right buttons to get in there.
$40.
Ah, you
Somebody
can't
talk
see
to
him.
them more about this game.
Oh, the cutscene glitched out. You can't see him berating me for killing a bunch of people.
Honestly, honestly, the way I see
really
it,
have to kill a bunch of people.
well, the way I see it, it's
we
a
gotta bring in
first-person
some
shooter,
votes
not
and
a
clean it
first-person
up.
shooter.
Marty Dollar sounds like the name some jerk with a lot of
Dallas
money
DeMarco.
would give himself. He has an obvious.
Oh wow, this
If I
cutscene's
were
actually
a
working.
rapper, my name would be
Operating
Calvin
town
Coolidge,
somewhere
and the
nearby.
C's would be like cent signs.
So
Swag,
CC
dude.
essentially.
Swag.
Calvin
More alive
Coolidge.
than dead, so don't
So,
get too
thing about this
critical.
What
game,
up? This is Calvin
Oh, by the
Coolidge.
way,
it actually has something kind of like a morality system, but it doesn't actually do anything.
It doesn't tell you how it works either. It's like every other feature in this game. It's all half-baked and unfinished. Because, okay, so you probably see the HUD on there with the 3 bars. The top one's health, the bottom one's ammo for whatever gun you're using. I still have not yet found out what changes the middle bar. Like, the manual says it's consciousness, and it says if you lose consciousness, you pass out and lose some health, but I don't think I've taken anything that, or I've never been damaged by anything that actually does consciousness damage.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Well,
social
it was just something
consciousness.
that was being. It's like a placeholder for the expansion pack. You know? The one
Yeah,
where
exactly.
all you do is just like
TekWar Atomic
inject
Edition.
quaaludes into your eyeballs.
I would say it's supposed to feel like drug-based psychic powers or something of the sort.
Super mega
Okay,
ultra
so we're gonna
tech
talk
core
about
too.
talk about tech, right?
Without the
'Cause
drug.
I'll introduce myself. If you don't know me by now, I am.
You will never,
Xerxes.
never know.
I am. Oh, no! You got the reference, and I did not expect anybody to get that reference.
You should probably explain it.
I think I need to find a share.
Oh, I learned recently shares actually are in America.
Would you like to kill the cops? Would you like to watch TV?
I can't. That's the dramatics, right?
I don't know.
I don't know who did that.
If you don't know me by now, was I mean, Teddy Pendergrass was the lead singer. You know, like Me and Mrs. Jones. That's a great, philandering kind of affair song. Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. I can't believe I missed that. Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes. Girl, without me, you're like Harold Melvin without the Blue Notes. You never go platinum.
It's a good platinum.
Yeah. No. Okay, so I am Xerxes. I'm high off my ass on tech as we speak.
Yeah, I mean, I took like 5 techs.
It's the only drug that winners use.
Yeah. Also, up here there's gonna be something else that confused me on my playthrough,
William
but
S. Sessions. Winners don't use drugs unless that drug is tech. In which
William
case,
S.
probably-
Shatner.
my question is, how are you supposed to know that you can shoot those electro barriers? Like, at no other point in the game can you actually do that.
Yeah.
Did you know that William S. Sessions got he lost his job because of peddling drugs?
Really?
Yeah, he got. Yeah, he got
no,
arrested.
That is.
Yeah, he got busted
You
for
may have
something.
taken
I
on,
forget what it
but
was.
you also
But
got a
yeah,
lot
it
of
wasn't drugs.
It wasn't for selling drugs, though.
Yeah, he got arrested for grinding up copies of TekWar and snorting them.
Oh yeah, that
That's
cutscene
the
glitched
only
out.
drug.
So that's two
Yeah,
of these jerks
got,
dead. Let's
William
see.
Sessions. William S. Sessions.
Let's get the worst one out of the way
He
first.
was actually hanging out with
Or
you know,
third,
Kerouac
rather.
My operatives down to
and Ginsburg,
check out the
and he
industrial area,
tried to shoot
and I
a
can't
shot
make
glass off his
her
wife's head, and he blew her
disappearance
brains
has
out, and he got arrested.
written all over.
Then he went to
You're
Interzone.
thinking of the
Hard to
wrong
grasp,
guy.
but take him down.
That's Burroughs.
Oh wait, that's William F. Burroughs. Oh,
That was the book
Say,
of
he
monkeys.
got the first name right.
and the middle initial.
Okay, so if you look up William S. Sessions on Wikipedia, there are two images. One is of his goofy mug. He looks like looks like a guidance counselor who's like 2 days away from retirement. But then the second picture is a picture of sample. It's the caption is sample. Winners don't use drugs message. This one is from Golden Axe. Like it matters. This one is from Golden Axe. What?
Well, maybe it could have been from Red.
Oh no, wait, it's the last map. I
Six.
think you can get both keys on the last map, so I don't
The
need
only winners don't use drugs screen I'm able to tell is actually from a game is Holosseum because it's slightly bent at the edges because that game's gimmick was that it was projecting the fighters in a 3D sort of pseudo mirror projection thingy.
Okay, look. Okay, wait a second. Let me specify something. William S. Sessions was never arrested or let's not besmirch the character of William S. Sessions.
Yeah. William S. Sessions.
We're gonna get
He didn't do anything wrong. He was removed from office by President Clinton, as it usually happens when a new president takes over. And since then, I believe he has become a judge. Apparently, he was appointed by. He was appointed by President Reagan as a commissioner of the Martin Luther King Jr. Federal Holiday Commission and was a delegate for the Americas at the Executive Committee of ICPO Interpol.
Wait a minute, he totally did steal. He used he basically used company planes to visit his family, and then he had a security system installed in his house on the government dime.
Well, if you are the director of the FBI, wouldn't you need a security system as a result of your job?
Yeah, but you don't buy it using
and therefore
your company.
Yes, you would. If you're the president, you need a security detail, and you don't pay for that out of pocket. The Secret Service does that.
Yeah, of course they don't pay it out of pocket. They get the money from
wrong. You're completely wrong.
the
I am standing up
lobbyists
right now,
and,
here and now. Meeting William S. Sessions.
I think this is the best livecast we have done today. Just FYI.
Okay. It is the best podcast I've done today. I'll tell you that.
Notice how little we've talked about the actual game.
What is there to say about this game, though? It's just bad.
I guess I'll take the dirty, boring work and just lay out the outline of the basic game. So basically, in each stage, you have to kill the tech lord, your target, who usually falls in like 2 or 3 shots. You have to usually get 1 or 2 key cards to reach him across an area of 1 to 3 maps, and once you kill the tech lord, you get this symbol, which is a key that you get to use in cyberspace. Once you get one of the keys, you're allowed to enter the Matrix, which Sarbu will get to eventually, and you'll find out that it's even more baffling and confounding than the main stages.
Because it's just badly
so is it
designed.
anything like every other thing? Like, there was the Lawnmower Man game, and of course, Shadowrun and stuff like that on the Genesis.
Yeah, it's pretty much like
it
90s
like
Cyberspace condensed.
Or the stuff in what's it called? The one with the bitch computer.
System Shock.
System Shock.
Yeah.
How did we all know that's what he was talking about?
Because he said.
That's showed it in a nutshell.
Yeah, she is pretty much a bitch. Yeah, she is alpha bitch.
Yeah.
She's like
I just want to point out something.
Proto-Gladys.
This has nothing to do with anything, but Dr. Sparkle of Crontendo fame will respond to basically anything my brother says on Twitter. He has responded to me like twice.
Status.
My
That's
brother has
interesting.
nothing to do with video games. Like, he and Dr. Sparkle are tight.
Are you?
I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I am.
I'm actually really happy because I just got followed by somebody.
You're gonna say like
No, I've been trying to get followed by Haruna Ano for a long time, and she finally followed me today. So I'm like, yay.
Nice.
who's that?
She's an idol, but she collects Famicom games, and she has like a really huge video game collection. And she's really good at video games, though, and we'll stream that. And it's kind of cool because she's starting to get into American NES games. So, but she's the one that can play Super Mario blindfolded.
You gotta get a link to that when searching for the US stuff. I'd like to see that.
Bazooka.
And speaking of Super, I know who you're talking about. That is really cool. Yeah, she's
I'm probably going to have to scrap this mission because I am getting my ass killed by guys I can't even see. What?
But speaking of Super Mario Brothers, like I just wrapped up a huge house party at my place, and there was like a whole, because I'm old, all of our friends have kids, so there are a whole bunch of kids in my basement, and I'm like, you know what we're gonna do? I want you guys to stop.
It's like,
so I was like,
got them in a pit.
like,
You're throwing the lotion down to them so you can
the basement
make
is
a kid coat.
technically like kind of where I enter my house. Yeah, no. It's only half underground. It's not that creepy.
Oh, it looks like a split level.
Oh, those are
If I
awesome.
said I had a whole bunch of kids in my crawl space, that would be creepy. There's nothing good happens in a crawl space.
There's no room for
but
anybody
no.
in my crawl space.
When I can't think of
The
anything
house
to
came
say,
pre-stocked with corpses. So I was trying to think of something for them to do, right? Because I don't really like them just running around going crazy, hitting each other with stuff that they find on the ground, which is what kids do if you don't put something in front of them, like a glowing rectangle of some kind. So I put on Super Mario Brothers they'd never seen or played. These are like 4 and 3-year-olds, and they were transfixed. So this has something to do with TekWar in the sense that it is a much better game than TekWar.
That's your only link.
That's the best. That's
Well,
the
it's
best
true.
idea.
Seems logical to me.
Yeah.
But think about TekWar as a game. Like, okay, even if it were the best game of its kind, you could still not put it in front of a bunch of toddlers and have them be awed by its ingenuity and sense of humor. Whereas with Super Mario Brothers, like when they first saw one of them first jumped on a turtle and ended up kicking the shell off to like hit a couple more Goombas or something like that, knocking them upside down. They all lost it. Like it was the funniest thing in the world. You think like it was hilarious. Like they got so into it because of the fun of it, and there is nothing realistic or gritty about it. It's like it's a totally opposite. It's almost anathema to the way that games are made today. I feel like it's just the sheer delight of seeing something like that happen. Or like, collecting a mushroom and then you see Mario suddenly grow twice his original size. Like, that's cool to them, because we can't look at that game. I can't look at that game anymore without, like, objectively. I just remember it. But it's not like the same.
I can't remember if you can find a blue key in this stage. Sorry, go ahead.
Nah, that's it. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it was like, it has, in the sense that I'm talking about a game, like, this is a step towards relevance. So, but no, I mean, isn't that interesting? Like, for people who have grown up playing these kinds of games,
There you go.
there's not really. I mean, it's not that interesting to play Super Mario Brothers. It's like, it's a really well-made game, but it's not. I'm so far removed from the original experience. I can't remember what the the fun of seeing those kinds of surprises just happen without being told that they're going to happen. And it's amazing. Like I took a picture of everybody going like, "Oh my god!" Looking at the TV. Like,
that makes sense though. That must be why I'm not able to play games like Super Mario Brothers anymore, because I'm so grown up now, and I'm so used to it that I try to play something like that, and all I see is the anger and the frustration that happens whenever I die multiple times. I don't see the fun that I used to have with it as a kid.
They don't have that. They just think it's funny when something bad happens and Mario falls into a pit. It's like it's just funny to them. Like to see that they can press buttons on a little rectangle in their hands and something happens. Especially because they're so used to pressing the rectangle itself and having things happen. These are all kids in like every one of these kids knows an iPad better than they know their own mother. It's like that's just the generation they are. Like. And they play a lot of games that way, but the fun of just like goofing around with a controller and seeing the little man like do crazy cartoonish stuff that it reminded me. It didn't remind me of anything because I can't really remember being that young, but I don't know. It felt good. It felt good. It just made me happy to see that like that game still entertains on that level. TekWar, on the other hand, no. TekWar
no
is
one is
not.
entertained by TekWar.
Nobody.
Well, that's the problem. It's not so much that it's a bad game, right?
Zerks,
it's really not that.
It's not the worst game ever now.
Yeah.
I
Go
think
ahead, please.
I think the dig with TekWar is that it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be, which makes it worse than I thought it would be. Because I've come to the conclusion lately, this is my humble opinion, feel free to disagree, but a game that is horribly mediocre is even worse than a really out-and-out bad game. Because super bad games, really bad games are memorable for being bad. Like, Big Rigs, over-the-road racing, for example, with its really janky-ass reverse super speed physics and your winner finish line crossing this. It is a glorious wreck. It is beautiful how really awful it is.
Well, that's the thing. There's kind of a different... I agree, but kind of half agree because... you have the Kusoge type games like that where it's amusing and entertaining, but then there's genuinely bad, like really bad games that are just painful to play or not fun to play or have just no, like you can't even enjoy it looking down on it.
Like honestly, this gets to be that sort of game later on. I'm just going to say that now.
But the last time
TekWar starts out really mediocre, and then it just never really gets...
Here's the problem with TekWar in a nutshell. The game's not finished. There are features listed in the manual, and even in the items you pick up in the game that serve no purpose. There are enemies that are clearly not supposed to be able to shoot you, that just shoot you. Like, that's all they can do is just shoot you. Because the game's not finished. Like, there's the whole thing with the consciousness health bar. I have no idea what that is. The manual talks about it. It's there. But it doesn't specify exactly what it does outside of that.
One of our, someone who was playing this game swears that he managed to make the bar go down, but no one else has been able to do that ever.
Also, wasn't there a demo disc that had a bunch of stuff that didn't make the final cut on it?
Yes, actually, there's a demo version of this game that's completely different.
Same thing with Operation Body Count.
Yeah, Operation Body Count also had a bunch of features that never made it into the final game, notably a melee weapon that isn't featured in the final game, and also the you lose guy. I'm trying to remember. Okay, I think it's the second warehouse, and I think you can get all the keys there.
Go ahead.
Would you say that Body Count's even worse than TekWar?
No, it's finished. It's playable.
Kind of fun. If you look at the final version of Body Count that got released, it's basically just a reskinned Corridor 7. And
pretty much.
For the most part, I think people generally were pretty positive to Corridor 7. It's Wolfenstein with aliens, but, it's actually got a good atmosphere to it. It's got good sound design. It's actually fun to play.
It's the least terrible of Capstone's
I have a question.
Yes. Right.
When you enter a map, you notice how it displays the a little name along the bottom? Is it just me, or is it just displaying straight up file names most of the time?
That's a good point. It's just
I think it is.
City 1 or what have you. Nothing more descriptive than that.
Yeah,
and usually under 8 characters.
It's just the map name. Yeah, I think they were supposed to have a name associated with it, but it never shows up.
Excellent work.
Oh, hey, Bazooka. I'll save that for the boss. I think I need the blue key, but let's see.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Whenever you pick up a pistol clip, why is why is it spelled with a K instead of a C?
Because it's the future! That's literally why.
Because Mortal Kombat was released in 1992. Replacing hard C's with K's just seemed like the thing. I'm pretty sure Midway started that, but I could be wrong.
I just remember there was this place. I think that was kind of something to do like in the mid to early 90s, because there was
a
this
couple
place.
Z's to it. Replace the hard C's with K's.
Some Z's.
K's a more bold letter than
the Krusty Comedy Classic.
Yeah, just like throw a few question marks in at the end.
KKK. That's
boo. Hey, Snarber, you should actually. One of the things I just realized, you should totally explain why you have to use the weakest weapon in the game to kill everything.
Yeah, the dorky sparkle.
Because it stuns everything. Enemies actually have a pain chance like they do in Doom, so like every so often if you hit them they'll freeze up. This gun actually causes all enemies to freeze up no matter what, and it stuns them, whereas like you could be shooting them with the pistol and they can still shoot back at you because their reaction time is essentially infinite. As soon as they can see you, here's something interesting. As soon as they can see even a single pixel of you, they can hit you. And that's something that's actually happened with me. Like I've swung open a door like just a pixel open, and I was starting to get hit immediately, and I'm like, yeah, there's something really wrong with the code in this game.
It's just like I feel like we had this exact same conversation, or a conversation element when we talked about Snake's Revenge, right?
Yeah.
Like if your elbow is within the line of sight of a bad guy, like they will notice you and come after you, because it uses the line of sight or stealth mechanic the same way that it uses basically hit detection.
Yeah.
What choice does it have? It has to. This game probably could have done something better than that.
Yes, it definitely could have.
Also,
because Doom doesn't have that problem,
right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Doom, the enemies will notice you if there's any part of you that's anywhere near them, right? Like it doesn't really matter if you're. I don't know for sure, but it seems like that to me. Like there's not really. The way the levels are designed, it doesn't really matter, because the point is just to go in and shoot a bunch of demons. But
even in Doom, the AI is at least intelligent enough. Like they can go in and they can say, hey, this enemy is not only facing away from you, but it's also deaf, so it's not going to hear you. But it might come around and it might say, if you walk in front of it, it's going to see you and go, oh, I'm going to kill you. So, at least you have
shots into the room, they'll notice it, right?
There's two different ways that Doom can handle that. It's a map thing. Monsters can be set to ambush only, meaning that if you fire a gun, it will wake them up, but they'll wait until they can actually see you to attack, or they can just be woken up by gunfire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like in this where they'll literally just track you from wherever in the level because you're visible.
Can I jump back to the weapons for a bit?
Oh yeah, the Orlo? Okay, so there's this pistol in the game called the Orlo. It looks like the MagSec from Perfect Dark. Here's the problem with it. It can jib enemies. Now normally that would be great in an FPS game. It insta-kills anything in a single hit. The problem is it also disintegrates their inventory, and sometimes the only way to get a key is off of an enemy. So if they had a key on them, you've just borked the map. You were screwed.
Wait, it's the Orlo? I thought it was the Dallo.
No, it's Orlo. O-R-L-O?
I also want to mention something about your first pistol I didn't get to earlier. It's ineffective on turrets and holograms, so you still have to keep at least your other default pistols around. And there's almost no ammo for the third weapon, the Shrike, I want to say it's called.
You do find charges for it in the map.
Really, none of these weapons are very fun to use.
No.
It's not like Doom where every weapon is a clear usage case.
They all seem basically identical from what I've seen.
Oh wait, here's something I need to show off too that Satenga noted very early. I hate to interrupt you guys. Okay, so you know how you hit escape in most games, it pauses them? Like, you can see here, game's paused. Here's the thing, you can still move around. The map functions still function. I can shoot. I can move around with the mouse. But the enemies are completely frozen. That's the only thing that's frozen are the enemies. So I could actually, if I'm fighting somebody and I'm dying, I can pause the game and just cap their ass from the menu.
It's a cheat.
It's kind of like the Blaster Master pause glitch, right?
Yeah, basically, except even worse.
Pause it, and the explosion just goes on forever.
It's like that, but worse. It's even more broken.
I'll have to remember that trick. Thank you.
Anybody ever see the old show Police Squad?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it was like the predecessor to Naked Gun, right? I remember this one episode where at the end of every episode they would do like a freeze frame, like where everybody's laughing because somebody like the comic relief said something funny. It's like, now that's the end of that chapter, and everybody freezes, but the camera doesn't actually stop. It's just the actors freeze. At least one of them I remember seeing. Maybe this happened in all of them for all I know, but one of them I remember seeing like everybody freezes, and the bad guy they just arrested is like. He doesn't freeze, and he just kind of looks around. He's like, all right, I'm out of here.
yeah, I think at least one does
takes off. He like looks around. He's like, really? Okay. All right, see ya.
Oh wow, that bus totally just jibbed that woman. Amazing.
Yeah, when I played through this mission, I actually started laughing because I was inside that building and like. As I was going through shooting everything, I kept hearing people getting hit by the bus outside.
they keep exploding. Yeah.
Does that count as civilian kill?
No, it doesn't. It's a map kill, and yes, that is one of the few things in this game that can kill you instantly. By the way,
even when you're paused.
I almost forgot that I wrote down a large list of grievances while playing the game.
Yeah.
I meant to get up to 50. I didn't quite do that because I just lost interest sometime.
Yeah, it's after a certain point.
Was that inspired by my list of grievances of watching Man of Steel on an airplane?
Nah, yeah, I wouldn't go.
You know what? Let's talk about that because
no, let's not.
Yeah, no, let's talk about how screwed up that is because you know what? It ties in. Spider-Man just came out, and I think both of them had.
People really hate that movie, don't they?
Well, I hate it.
Spider-Man did not just. That's the problem. That's the problem.
The second
in out.
Well, in other countries, Spider-Man 2 just came out here this week. So,
Spider-Man 2's been out since like 2006.
He means Amazing.
No, this is Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, you're right. I stand corrected.
Yes, with Booberry.
Oh, jeez.
He looks like a racist caricature. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and apparently he sounds like they said basically this movie is Batman Forever, but with Spider-Man characters, because they said he looks like Mr. Freeze, but then he acts like the Riddler, and then you have
excuse me, Mr. Freeze in the Joel Schumacher verse was in Batman and Robin.
Electro never has to joygasm, does he?
I'm pretty sure he's gonna do that because this is
If I may interject, that bazooka looked remarkably weak.
It's like a briefcase that it opens up and then it fires like three missiles.
That was one of the many reasons I hated Batman Forever. I just could not stand that movie. But Jim Carrey was just really annoying in that movie and obnoxious. And
it was just Jim Carrey, for better or worse.
Well, that's the thing. Like he can be pretty funny sometimes. It's just like he was just really
pretty
obnoxious
much like whatever the hell he was in The Mask, right? Like there wasn't really any distinction between the two.
That's another movie that everybody loved, but I hated because I like the Mask comics. They're totally different. But then I don't know. Like,
I wish the Riddler was more like the Mask. Could just be
there's actually a theory I heard once that Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey were actually reading the wrong scripts for that movie. Like Jim Carrey was supposed to have been Two-Face, and Tommy Lee Jones was supposed to have been the Riddler. That would have made more sense.
Explain.
Because the Riddler is not a goofy character. I mean, he's got a weird warped sense of humor.
He's
but
a man
not
who wears a suit covered in question marks and a bowler cap.
Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, wait.
He's a very serious guy.
Okay, so here's something I would like to note real quick, and then we can talk about awful Batman movies. So you see this thing on this pedestal right here. It looks kind of like, I'm just going to say like a lightsaber. I mean, I'm sure you guys think it looks like something else.
It's like a place I'm supposed to land in Pilot Wing 64.
Yes. Anyway, that thing I just picked up is called the AccuTrack. I have no clue what it does. I have never been able to figure out what that item does or how you use it.
And an AccuJack?
AccuTrack. AccuJack. Yes, it does look like something else. I was trying to refrain, but yes, it does in fact look like a vibrator.
That's not
much better. Because that is a brand, the AccuJack.
Oh Jesus! So
this is the best. This is the best live cast, by the way, folks. This is going to go down in history, and you're never going to see it again. That's how historical it is.
It'll die on the way back to its home planet.
This is the end of GC9X, isn't it?
Well, what is there to say with this game, though? We've noted.
I like how that guy's vest only, the guy who just shot, his vest only exists on the front of his body. He turns around, no vest.
I have to ask, and now you've mentioned it, so this is GC9X, but whatever happened to GC8X?
It died a horrible death.
Or, well,
It's kind of like
they weren't allowed to
Elvis's
use computers.
7, 8,
brother, right? Like Elvis Aaron Presley, he had a twin brother that was like, I think, was it stillborn or what? Did he just die like really young?
Oh, I know this one. What happened is he had these. Elvis had these headaches when he was a kid, and he passed out. He had a seizure one day, and what happens? They took him to the doctor, and they noticed there was a tumor in his brain, and they did brain surgery, and they noticed that there was an eyeball, a tooth, and part of a nose, and that was his brother.
I thought that was
That's the dark half.
Blackjack, yeah.
Funny thing, Capstone made a game about the dark half too. You should bring that up.
Capstone, yes,
that's
if it's a
what I
good.
was leading into.
Sarbu, I think there's a red keypad back on the top floor. Sorry I didn't point it out earlier.
Yeah, on the opposite side of the, or wait, on the top floor of this weird janky maze, or.
Yeah. Well, not the building you were just in. I'm sorry,
okay.
I should have pointed that out.
Yeah, I was just trying to remember where it was because I know it's here somewhere. Oh, did she just drop
some of
that
these
key?
buildings in this like TekWar super future are made of apparently cobblestones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's retro chic.
You know what I would do if I were designing a like first person shooter death trap dungeon type thing? All the keys would be red.
Different shades of red, you mean? Like you have red, you have cherry.
Yeah. They're just all red.
Magenta, vermilion.
Don't hurt
Maybe
me.
there is no difference. I don't know. Like, you figure it out, genius.
Maybe you're a color.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was pretty much like playing the Metal Gear games on the NES, because you had to go through every. I'm sorry. I started saying and then I was going to change it into another word, and then I ended it with.
And then you forgot what other words started with "f."
That's really hard to do.
But no, that was one thing I really hated about the old. I like the Metal Gear 2 and stuff on the MSX, but one thing I hated was dealing with all the different key cards. That was one thing I was glad that they changed, because basically it was like what Xerxes was saying, where you had to try every key card until.
Didn't Snake's Revenge do that too? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it did.
That's not.
And that was a bummer, like during the RoboCop 2 fight.
Oh lord. And then Metal Gear Solid made it so that just the latest key you had overrode all the others, which is really nice. Then by Metal Gear Solid 4, you didn't even need keys because you're all outdoors, and well, no, all three was
That's a good question. Somebody in the chat just said, how else? What can we learn from the TekWar? Wait, no, they said something less interesting. But I'm going to pretend like they said, what can we learn from the TekWars? And the answer is love each other. Love each other.
And cool kids do drugs.
Should we haven't dropped that line from The Simpsons yet, have we? Well, the kids have to learn about TekWar sooner or later.
I think that's what he was doing. He was saying that.
And I'll be back in a minute.
I'm being redundant. Don't mind me.
Way to be a line jacker, Satanga. Jeez.
I'd rather be a side hacker.
Which
was ostensibly the most controversial Mystery Science Theater episode for its time because they forgot about a rape. But that's neither.
Oh, they didn't forget about it. They
didn't screen it properly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So they just cut that scene out, or?
Yeah, and then like
disgusting.
one of the two robots made an offhand comment saying, like, "For those of you keeping score at home, she's dead." Or something.
You know what's happening. It's just a disturbing and stupid thing to put in a movie that dumb. Like,
That's
I
actually
hate
pretty
that.
typical of movies that dumb, though.
Well, I was going to say that's kind of like, well, have you seen, was it Galaxy of Terror?
I've been watching Slow Beef and Low Tax's Let's Play of Phantasmagoria.
Oh, jeez.
And they cut out that one scene that everyone knows about, and you know what? It's silly because without that scene, nothing actually changes. I mean, it's like no one even.
No one brings it up.
It's like
No
it
one.
never even happened. It's just gratuitous and it's dumb and it's bad.
Well, I think that was partially because Roberta Williams was trying to, show that she could do mature, grown-up stuff, and that was her last game, wasn't it?
I think close to it, if not the last. Yes.
Let me
Remember,
look that
there
up.
is a key
Why
in
that
here.
pisses me off so much. Why would someone like Roberta Williams just say, "You know what? I'm not making games anymore"? Like, why?
No.
Didn't she openly say at some point that
No,
she
the last-
thought that her audience was too dumb for her sophisticated games, though? Wasn't that something she actually
if she said?
said?
That, then maybe I don't care. But
Hang on, I don't know if we're going to get sued by her.
No.
The last game that she
Does she sue people?
the last game that she's credited for is King's Quest: Mask of Eternity.
Oh, yeah, you're right,
She did work on Shivers as well, though.
Did she seriously say that about her audience?
Yeah, there's an Old Man Murray quote talking about the death of adventure games, and I think that was brought up that the adventure games were meant.
She said that at the time, or she said that after she's like an old embittered person?
Probably after, like it was probably sometime in the 90s.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay. But like,
She was probably bitter about
Whoa.
games like Quake and such, if I had to guess, is the context of the quote.
I would be too. There's really, you're making. If you're Roberta Williams, like you have a right to be bitter about.
Yeah, but why is
you have
Quake a
right to
less
blame
important
things
game than King's Quest? I mean, we played 2 King's Quest games. Can you honestly tell me those are better than Quake?
No, it's not the point. I'm just saying, like, at least you have a thing to blame your failure on. It might not be true, but that's something, and that can make you bitter and say stupid things. But if you're at like top of your game, and you're like, guess what? People who just made me millions, they suck. It's like, it's like, why?
So
People who do that, I just don't get it. It's like,
So I'd like to point out just a second
Oh
here.
god, this elevator.
There's an interesting conversation going on in the chat about whether this level is super bloody long, or if you're just running along in mad long circles.
I was looking for a
I
key
think
card.
In this level, it's a little bit of both, isn't it?
Well, the level I'm in, I'm on a different level now. I'm not sure how far back the stream is right now. But basically, the last stage of this particular TekWar is literally a maze. It's just this weird, like, concrete marble maze. And if you don't have both key cards, which apparently you need the red key card, apparently it's not on the actual map. I have to go find another map that has it. Because here's something really weird about this game. Your inventory does travel between stages, but your weapons, ammo, and some other things don't. So it resets every time. Also, any enemies you kill, they respawn as well.
Samus-Aran syndrome, I believe it's called.
Thankfully, I don't really need other weapons, but it's still a kick in the butt.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why the base pistol is so effective, is because they couldn't figure out how to have your inventory travel between stages, so they had to make sure whatever you had was the best.
Good point.
It's the only thing that makes sense to me, anyway.
So, at least you're not dead yet. I guess that's a merciful thing.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure if that's saying much in the context of TekWar.
Let me go look at my list of grievances. I
TekWar
feel as if
speaks
there's something we
volumes.
haven't covered yet.
It is the
I know
game for our
talk about it
times.
For a while if they want.
What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, we briefly mentioned that Capstone was all in that dark half game. We could talk about the other games they were involved in.
They were all, yeah, they were. It was weird. They were mostly a licensed game company.
This just talked over me.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, I'm just saying, like, probably about 30 minutes ago.
Well, like we said, they mostly licensed stuff, except for like a handful of their FPSs, and I don't think they really made anything good that actually saw release.
Did you guys ever buy one of those games or any of these?
I'd only say we did at least purchase Corridor 7 back in the day.
I've only purchased one, and this was well after the fact for like $5, and that was a jewel case release of Witch Haven 2.
Oof.
It just seemed like they just took all these like random Z-tier licenses and just make terrible games out of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. You'd think like for a licensed game company, your goal would be to get like the cream of the crop and then crap out a crappy game. But we're talking TekWar here. Like this is like a C, D, even Z grade license. Like who at Intracore, since that's the parent company, said, you know what the world needs? We need to make a game based on TekWar. The kids have to know about this. Like,
wait a second. TekWar was a best-selling science fiction novel. It had a TV miniseries, and it was a B-grade license.
Okay, so can you explain Homie to Clown to me then?
Z-grade license is like Bazooka Joe. You know, like Z-grade license would be something that people would have to look up before they understood that it was a licensed property. That's even worse than Bazooka Joe.
But they had some really weird licenses, like Homie the Clown.
Yeah, like that. I would say that's a C or Z grade.
Like riding the zeitgeist. You know?
But they also had some weird things, like, for instance, the Dark Half game. That actually came out in 1992. The movie was supposed to come out in 1992, but it didn't because Orion had gone bankrupt and it was on the shelf. And then it got released in early 93, but then the game had already come out, so yeah, there you go.
And I'm back.
The X versus Cerberus situation.
William Shatner sent me a message on my page where I had to go beat down some tech lords through the power of interpretive dance and heavy explosives.
That's a good way of describing the movement in this game.
Of all the celebrities we have trashed on this podcast in our August career, I think William Shatner is the most likely to respond to us.
Yeah, which to be fair, he's actually a pretty cool dude. I just like messing with people.
I've got a not a first-hand story, but a William Shatner story from somebody who I knew. So, like, this is probably 10 years ago. I knew I worked at a Starbucks, and I knew a lot of other people who worked at Starbucks around the area because it's not a franchise. It's just like, Starbucks owns a bunch of stores. Mm-hmm. It's part of some kind of nefarious property gobbling plot. But the thing, like, all kinds of people come into Starbucks because it's pretty much the same. Like, even rich people or whatever William Shatner is will come into Starbucks and get drinks because it's what everybody drinks. And so I knew a young woman who worked at a Starbucks in downtown Indianapolis. I guess there was like a sci-fi convention or something in town, and she's just putting drinks out without thinking about it because you just get these orders coming in and you just got to make the drink and you put it out there and you call it. And then the customer picks it up. And she calls out a certain kind of drink, and she hears a very familiar halting voice say, "This is very good, but it's not what I ordered." And it was William Shatner.
Wait, he actually talks like that?
It's what he can't help it. He knows he's doing it, but he's at a loss to
explain why.
He can't.
Is it like a speech impediment or
no?
No, he is just William Shatner. He is a quasi mystical entity. Yeah, like he kind of just. First of all, if I were William Shatner, I would talk like that all the time, all the time, no matter.
Yeah, I
what.
wish I could do that.
That apparently doesn't exist.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's his brand, but I think he actually can't control.
Oh wow! I actually got myself stuck in a situation I can't get out of. Because this doesn't lead anywhere. This is a non-existent level. I was going to show off something here. Is that the subway hub map? You can actually beat the tech lords out of order if you really, really wanted to. But this apparently is a non-existent station, so I just got myself stuck here. So we'll skip this one.
For nothing.
Oh, report mission. But I can come back to it at any time. That's the thing.
Game, but it's not the game I was playing.
Yeah, to be honest,
isn't that cool though? That's like a cool thing to say. Like a jerk would say, like, "This isn't what I ordered," and you'd be done with it. William Shatner tries the drink, and he goes,
They must be trying to link tech to the Matrix.
"This tastes good,
Not
but
much to
it's
go on.
not the drink I
They don't
ordered."
have much time, so it'll have to do.
It's like that's a cool
I
and
want you to
nice
take
thing to
down
say.
Carlisle
Yeah, like
West.
letting him down gently, all that.
Shat's a
He conducts
class
business
act.
with
I'd like
someone
to.
who's park.
He's a good guy.
Try to bring
I'd like
Yeah,
to
he's
promote
really
his
good.
album. I'd like to promote his album
TekWar
Has
think he's
Been,
selling
which
them
is
out.
actually
It might
surprisingly
buy
damn
sometime.
good.
Well, that was like the recent one, as in like 10
Yeah.
years ago, right? Like
Yeah,
Ben
well,
Folds
relatively.
is involved. I
Yeah,
think,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
The original. There's a guy. That's what I like about him is he's in on the joke. He's like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is in on the joke.
He has fun with it.
And
Why?
it's like, why would you? First of all, if you are Nicolas Cage or William Shatner, I consider Nicolas Cage to be the William Shatner of the, I guess, 1995
Generation
or something.
X.
But, yeah.
Honestly,
yeah.
Here's what it is for me. Like, you know
I
what
will be
wanna know?
right back.
Does he remember this game? Is he embarrassed by it? Does he?
You know, I had to ask him about that afterwards. Like, see if we can get in touch with him on Twitter or something. Probably not gonna get a response, but it'd be worth a try, I think.
He'd say like, I don't know, everything prior to Miss Congeniality 2 is sort of a blur.
Also, summarize the old thing with him embracing the whole persona. It's kind of like the opposite with what Sean Connery did with James Bond. Like, he actively tried to avoid it and wound up getting involved with things like Zardoz. Yeah, Zardoz as a consequence, whereas Shatner and Cage, they kind of rolled with it and they had fun with it, you know?
Right. I mean, well,
I don't think Nicolas Cage has a choice, though. He's in so much debt that he pretty much just has to keep working, or he's going to die. It's kind of like the movie Crank.
He must make more B movies. Ghost Rider 3, please. No, I mean, the thing about, like, if you are Nicolas Cage or William Shatner, like, your hamminess is a national treasure, and to deprive us of it is selfish and wrong. So that they're doing what they should be doing. It is wrong to expect them to do anything else, and the fact that they get criticized for like, well, they're just doing their character, they're just playing themselves. Like, that's the point. That's all they're supposed to do. Like, somebody in the chat said, wait, Nick Cage is in debt? What for?
Yeah.
Sometimes Hollywood just doesn't work out the way actors want it to.
Crippling egg addiction. Yeah.
Hey, wait, why did you say it was a hologram? You didn't even shoot anything.
I think I don't know.
Did a hologram get ran over or something?
Yeah,
Nick
maybe.
Cage.
That building, you just
Nick
saw
Cage
that building that has the
is a pretty
revolving
chill
door
guy,
that's
though.
always working.
Oh god, did he get killed by the door?
Can I say something about Nicolas Cage real quick?
Please.
The man actually kind of scares me because I'm worried eventually he's just gonna like go on a shooting spree or something.
He plays those crazy ass roles.
He's just in debt. Or, I'm sorry, he's just intense. But
In debt.
no, I think I have respect for him, though, because first of all, he's a big Superman fan. Second of all, he's a big comic fan. His screen name is from a really racist comic character, Luke Cage, Power Man. And he just so I think that takes him
racist, right? Like, it's not like they were not like aware.
It was a white guy's idea of how a black superhero would be.
Well,
And basically,
not
he's
meta racist, but like Luke Cage is not like a racist in the sense like Amos and Andy, kind of like like minstrel show racist. It's like a unintentional racist.
It's kind of,
let's call our character Black Vulcan.
Electro and Amazing Spider-Man 2 racist.
At least
No,
he
he's-
was Black Power Man.
Well,
Oh my God, that was really clever.
No,
I
that's
did not intend it to be.
That reminds me of
exactly
a
where they were
gag
going.
from Harvey Birdman.
I did not mean that to be that clever, and that was really good.
No, Xerxes,
take
that
credit
is
for it.
actually where they were coming from, and
Really?
that's yes, that's why they were also why they
Actually-
called Black Panther Black Panther.
Well, that is just cool. Like, that was a cool thing to do, I thought.
That they were like,
Because all
well,
they're doing
let's
is just validating the Black Panther Party at a time before they were kind of discredited. You know, there's like, okay, Black Panther Party.
yeah,
Because
but basically his dialogue, like literally 50% of anything Luke Cage ever said involved the words sweet and Christmas, and
yeah. It's like, you know, I don't know whether he
Or-
actually
oh, yeah,
called people
and
jive
clunky.
turkeys, but
Yeah,
he could, yeah.
unrelated note, I'd love to see...
I like Luke Cage. I like the character.
Well, I don't like Luke Cage now because he's this boring bald guy. He looks like, it's just they're like, oh shit, we're gonna piss some black people off if we.
I don't think they would. Though. I don't think they would.
But that's the thing. Like, what's his name? Brian Bendis really loves the character, but then or he says he does, and he puts him into like all these comics, but like he's just kind of there. It's just this guy in a t-shirt. As opposed to some big pimp motherfucker that
you could make it. Yeah, you could do so much with an idea of a '70s blaxploitation character in a modern world.
Well, speaking of which,
he would be like the Steve Rogers, right? The Captain America of the '70s.
Well, they technically have that. It's called Black Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, no, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah, but I think that would be kind of cool, like to do that as some kind of meta thing. What does? And speaking of Captain America, here's some trivia, kids. If you saw The Winter Soldier, the Falcon is, back in the 70s, Captain America had a partner called the Falcon, and he's in this movie, but he was like originally a pimp. Like his origin was he was a pimp.
As a side note, I'd like to say I love how dumb the enemy design is. Like, half the people are just like random saucy names in the middle of nowhere, and then the rest are like those dudes with the dorky chest blasters.
A lot of them don't even look like your standard Poison-esque female gangsters. They look more like they belong in a focus group somewhere. Yeah, conducting.
Yeah. Hey, this is a subject we passed about 10 minutes ago, but I just want to go back to actors being comfortable with being themselves. Like William Shatner and Nick Cage, they're class acts. I really understand that they, are pretty much themselves wherever they go, and that's amazing. Mm-hmm. So I got a question. Why is Jason Statham incapable of being anyone else than Jason Statham?
Because he doesn't have to be. You don't know whether he's incapable of it or not. He just doesn't have to be. Mm. And if he was, he probably would get fired from whatever piece of crap he's working on.
No.
Man, I love Half a Vest Guy. I just want to say this again.
He for some reason is more difficult than any other opponent. He seems to fire a little faster, or at least he just
got that quick draw McGraw kind of stance.
I just call him Al Pacino.
That's the guy that says you're a loser and they're scraping the bottom of the barrel these days, right?
Yeah. I just gotta classify enemies as either saucy dames, dorky chest blaster dudes, or Imperial Guards.
I like the fat raver chicks. Those are my favorite because they look like fat raver chicks.
Oh god, this saucy
the trench coat guys are easier to kill than the other guys because you can shoot them in the trench coat and it hurts them.
Do you have
it makes sense.
I'm not sure you should use
I do. I can go to the next area.
If you're a trench coat guy in a Cyberpunk game, the trench coat is so much a part of you that it probably would kill you if somebody put a hole in it. It probably would it's like existential injury. Right?
Existential crisis or existential damage.
Isn't that how it worked in the Matrix more?
I'm just picturing you shoot a guy in the trench coat and it says existential damage and he comes up on X2.
Maybe that's how the consciousness works. Maybe that's your will to lift meter. And it never goes down because you don't have the self-awareness.
We need to do can you do TekWar mods pretty easily?
There is source code, but that's about it that's about the only way you could modify this game. It's not easy.
A 90s Doom clone that had
existential damage.
You shot a guy in the trench coat. Existential damage.
You can just go in here.
That almost sounds like the in the Scarface game, they would call out what part of the body you damaged down to the testicle, which one.
Balls meter.
It would say, left nut shot or in the dick.
It's come to my attention lately that game is surprisingly not bad, despite its rather cheesy starting premise.
Well, it's one of those legendary, great bad PS2 games, right? It was a PS2 game, wasn't it?
And the Xbox, I think, also.
And PC as
well.
well.
Doesn't count. Nobody played that. The Xbox is Okay, I had the privilege of being at the E3 where the Xbox was unveiled.
Oh, wow.
Every journalist there was extremely confused by this thing because Microsoft rented out this gigantic piece of convention floor real estate and didn't let anybody inside. It was like a giant fort that you could not enter. And like on the perimeter of the fort were like little like turret type stations where you could play like some stupid Xbox launch game. And that was about it. And the controller was like kind of like the size of a, you know, like a human
gorilla?
head. Yeah, it was like it was. It was amazing to me that I came back and like a year later, it's like, wow, people are buying Xboxes.
Conrad Lowell.
Like, this doesn't seem right, but no, I mean that's not a diss on the hardware or the quality of the games or anything. It's just like the way they presented it was so. It was very CES and I hate to say this because it sounds so like insider jargony, but like it was very consumer electronics show kind of presentation. It was like they had no clue what they were doing.
I think that's how Microsoft has presented everything at E3 since then. And I mean, when the Xbox was first announced, I was like, wow, why does Microsoft have to do this?
Board Captain just asked, okay, as someone who's never owned an Xbox, what's the big selling point of the system other than Halo and Halo 2?
Ooh.
That was pretty much it.
Well, much as Odyssey.
It's a Metal Wolf Chaos.
You know,
Yeah, Metal Wolf
like-
Chaos.
Yeah, but that didn't come out in the United
The
States.
only reason I would want to take mine out of storage.
Knights of the Old
'cause-
Republic no longer counts because it's so much easier to play that on a computer now.
can I say something real quick?
Yo.
Mhm.
What I was gonna say is I really love the random, really weird exclusive the Xbox has that no one ever talks about.
Because most of them are pretty bad. Actually, there are.
Voodoo Vince, Kung Fu Chaos.
All of those are
Oh,
terrible,
Jesus.
terrible games.
Ninja Theory got its start making a bunch of racist caricatures.
Grabbed
Sounds
in,
about right.
and grabbed by the ghoulies and an
Oh man, you know, people were so hyped up for like, or I guess they were just so hyped up for the first Rare game, like post Nintendo Rare game, and that's what they gave us, grabbed by the ghoulies.
I wish they would have changed their brand name to Rare Unchained, like Rare, Unchained. Rare Unchained.
And this is the games they give us.
You thought Conker was nuts? Guess what, dudes?
Yeah, Panzer Dragoon.
Dark something.
Yeah, Centric Peo in the chat mentioned Panzer Dragoon Orta. That was actually damn good, and so was Jet Set Radio Future.
Mm-hmm.
Give credit.
Yeah, but are those really system sellers?
No, even if it did like future.
not killer apps? They're more like those underground cool thingies that you find for $5. You decide to give a shot, and you're pleasantly surprised. Yeah, I'm gonna actually check what Xbox games I own. I'll be right back.
Does anybody here? I'll do a quick plug for friend of the show, Ray Barnhold. He probably doesn't remember that he was on the show, but he did this show like once a long time ago. But his magazine Scroll, he did an entire issue devoted to Japanese only Xbox games. It's pretty fascinating. Like, it did not make me want an Xbox, but that's not really an insult, you know. But it did. It was like it was really funny and like really interesting.
Give him one more.
Like,
to the. Oh, sorry.
No, nothing. I got it.
Breakdown.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and it sucks because that one was one of the few that didn't get backwards compatibility on the 360s.
It did for a while, I thought, actually, or did they finally remove it?
I think they removed it or something because
Does the Xbox 360 even have back compat anymore?
I don't know.
I thought they patched that out completely.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. They just really don't care. Like
They don't have to. They don't have to.
Yeah, I know they have a whole
buys
bunch of
like-
dude bros and
Yeah.
retards that are going to buy Halo games.
That's the precedent for games.
Halo's not even a
nowadays.
thing anymore. It's not even.
It's
a
Call
thing.
of Duty.
Then
matter.
Plus cases of war, whatever.
Oh yeah, JoJo. You know who's gonna appear in the next Call of Duty? By the way,
Kevin Spacey.
Tim Rogers.
Kevin Spacey. Not shit.
So I should mention those revolving
Can you kill
doors.
He's
I
the
think
villain,
he's like the
so.
president or something.
Oh shit!
You can try.
That's the thing.
but
Like,
it's only
yeah, I was gonna say if you
existential
can kill him, I would totally buy that.
Well, you know, as soon as you go
Even
like
the hair piece, right?
50 feet near him, the game's just gonna kill you.
So also, while we're on the subject, I should mention that with those revolving doors back there, on my first playthrough, I actually somehow wedged myself into them and the game just straight up crashed.
Build has a really hard time with doors.
Yeah, and it seems like some of the later games actually coped with that, but this just didn't even try to do anything.
Well, they cope with it by you entering the void by just outright killing you.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it works.
More graceful than the game just straight up crashing.
Okay, there's the red key
Kevin
card.
Spacey was in a Superman movie, so I'm going to go back on that Superman topic. Xerxes, what did you think of Pa Kent in Man of Steel?
Cough.
I think he stepped out, actually.
Okay, well, I'm gonna talk about that now because no, I just that was the thing that really bothered me about the movie. Everybody was like getting all up in arms because Superman, he breaks Zod's neck, but that's like really the least of the things he does. He commits genocide. He kills like all these like fetuses, and like he basically creates like a massive abortion of all the Kryptonian babies, and then he kills all the other Kryptonians by sending them into the Phantom Zone and killed. But then like his dad, like Kevin Costner is just so awful in this role. He's just so terrible. Like typically they show his dad as like being one of the big reasons why Superman's a good guy, because he told him to do the right thing and raised him right and all that. In this, he's just sort of like this passive aggressive like sociopath, and like there's a scene where like Superman's supposed to he saves his school bus from like everybody from drowning, and then his dad's like, you shouldn't have saved him, and then he's like, well, what was I supposed to do? And he's like, yes, I'm talking about why Kevin Costner was the worst thing in that movie.
No, Kevin Costner was a great thing in that movie. The problem is that movie was written by, who knows, David S. Goyer, Tron 2000.
Yeah, David S. Goyer, like basically he makes everything he touches into like pure retardation.
Do we get sued if I call him David S. Gayer?
I'm going to call him
that. I'll sue you
David
for
S.
that.
Goyam.
Yeah, I give me money.
Jojo, that's
Give me your
I am so sorry. We're going to get shut down.
No,
I would like to take this time to note that the base gun you get in this game reminds me a lot of a staple gun for some reason, and I could never been able to figure that one out.
I just like to call it the dumb sparkle gun.
The sparkle gun. Sparkle,
I was
sparkle.
just really bothered by the fact that like Superman had a better relationship with like a hologram of his dead dad than with like the guy that was supposed to have raised him in that movie.
Here's the real problem with Superman, the Man of Steel. Okay, if the United States Army has like a major supporting role in your Superman movie sucks. Because it means Superman isn't doing anything. You understand?
And he did. Yeah, that was one of the things. Like he just
caused as many problems as he solved.
Yeah,
The army should not be a starring supporting character. Like that does not make sense.
But that's the thing.
Superman
When you have a
will
dad
exist.
like his dad basically just told him,
You need to watch where
it's like,
you shoot.
Dad,
I can't keep
I had
the
to save
cops
those
from throwing
kids,
you
or
back
else
in the freezer.
they would have
You
died.
keep
And he's like,
screwing up and getting innocent
no,
bystanders
you
killed.
shouldn't have done that.
Be more
He's like, well,
careful
what
out
should I
there.
have done?
Yeah, but the problem
yourself.
is that his
Got out of here.
The problem
I just
with
I
that
hate
comment
you so much.
is that like their whole thing is like
One of my
Son,
operatives
because the
reported
world
seeing
cannot
Winston
know
Thompson
about you
down in
because
the
they
freezer.
will be
What a big
because they will do
operator
what?
like him has
He's
just done.
invincible.
Could be worth the trouble
Like,
to find out. Remember to keep
what's
your
the
cool
point
out
of hiding him
Son,
with that?
you're gonna
there, or I'll
change
have
the
you put
world.
back on ice.
By the way, is it okay if I?
Bad way.
sorry.
Just make sure you
Yeah.
do it at a point where the movie can't.
Is it okay if I? Is it okay if I give the introduction to Cyberspace when the time comes, or?
This cyberspace thing. Yeah, we're getting pretty close here. I've got most of the keys. I just have to beat this last boss, and this
Yeah,
is the
and
one
then
I don't
just curious
remember,
last-
actually. This is the one I remember least.
Yeah. So anyway, after this, if I put in some words and just kind of break everyone into cyberspace and all that.
I think the only thing I think just the sheer awe of seeing it for the first time should be enough for most people. Oh yes,
Yeah.
now I remember. I need the red key card, and I forget if I can just get it from the map that I'm supposed to fight this guy. And yeah, you have to fight this guy in Hobo Town, USA, which is apparently this is supposed to be futuristic LA. So
Like you just
Yeah, and
ran
we
over that
missed him.
dude's back.
Yeah,
You
it
just
has
ran
been
over a
feedback.
hobo's back.
I don't think so. Actually, wait. Yeah, I think I did actually.
Actually,
Lord Captain.
Actually, no, wait. No, that's not a hobo. That's
Truth of life.
what is that? I don't know. It's a
Problem.
rag.
This is like, stepping on each
Oh wait,
other.
no. Yeah, you can just jump off this hobo.
Yep, that's,
So-
it's a crumpled hobo, and you can just launch off of him.
Do a wicked
really-
360
like,
flip.
Yes, Lord Captain, I do actually make the weird poses in public just because. Sorry, I'm answering people on the chat. So
No, that's fine. I actually can't see it right now because I'm playing the game.
no, it's okay. And
Hey, brothers, tech.
I agree about the Zack Snyder. Like he's totally a style over substance type guy.
Zack Snyder is a Mountain Dew commercial that attains sentience. He's not a person. Therefore, anything you say about him is fair game.
So, Zack Snyder is a 6-foot-tall ocelot from Topeka.
Zack Snyder is a 360-degree slam dunk that just directs movies. Like, it's not a person.
I remember you described. Wait, Zack Snyder did what was it? I'm trying to remember the Watchmen movie, right? Was that Zack Snyder?
He did it. I think that's better than saying he directed it. So yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
Yes,
I
he
remember
did
your
do it.
comment about that movie. Xerxes was describing it as like a 2-hour Hyundai commercial or something like that. A 2-hour Hyundai commercial. Those are your words, exact words, if I recall.
I did not say that.
Yeah, you did.
That the replacement for the giant tentacle monster was just so stupid.
Yeah,
That
it
was
didn't
like
make any sense.
It didn't make sense. It's like, okay, well, it's like, yeah, we're gonna create world peace by villainizing a guy that used to work for the U.S. as their weapon. And it's like, okay, yeah, now actually everybody's now going to come after the U.S. and there's going to be a world war and everyone's going to die. It's like, it just didn't make sense. It was really dumb.
The tentacle monster didn't make sense in the first place.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing.
It's a
Like, I
stupid
think,
ending.
well, the thing is, like, basically if Cthulhu or some, like some junior Cthulhu monster teleported its way into Manhattan.
Here's the thing. If I were the president of the United States and I were locked in an eternal state of war with the USSR in like an alternate 1988 or whatever that was, like I would just blame the tentacle monster on the Soviets.
Yeah.
Be like,
I mean, that was kind of like a totally...
We've known that the Soviets have been pursuing a giant tentacle monster for decades. We just didn't think that they were so cowardly as to deploy it upon the civilian populace of the freedom-loving New York City. Nuclear war. See?
The boxing ring victory of a glorious USA over the coward country USSR.
Yeah, exactly. So, I just blame the tentacle monster on them.
How
Things like Gorby's head all over it, you know?
Also,
about that sports team?
I'm just gonna say that like I got to the second map expecting a huge ass search for the TekWar, and I was like right there, right by the start of the map, and I was like, oh hey, that went quickly.
Yeah.
TekWar sounds like a really like subpar DJ.
Yeah, DJ
An
TekWar.
action figure, I don't know.
DJ Tech Lord coming to you straight from some place that speaks English with an accent.
My mother's basement.
Yeah, it's like Tech Lord sounds like somebody who'd be like opening up for Daft Punk, you know?
Gonna ramp off his hobo a couple of times because I can.
Sick hobo stunts. Okay, I'm just gonna say that the sick hobo stunts are probably the best part of this game, aside from the farty noise some enemies make later on.
Here's the Tech Word. Tech Word is a great example of a game that would be made so much better with product placement. Like product placement in a movie or game that takes place in the present always sucks because it feels like, well, this seems less real than reality because in reality there would be like, you know, Domino's advertisements right next to the Pizza Hut advertisements. Like it just feels weird to see nothing but Pizza Hut.
So like have a game
referring to
like,
Ninja Turtles, right? But,
Make a
but
check
in the
squad.
future, you can believe anything. It's like Demolition Man. Taco Bell's the only fast food restaurant chain that survived.
Chex
Whatever
Quest
it was that
TekWar.
wiped out the other ones, right?
It was a
So-
fest. It was a franchise war, I think, is what they called it.
Okay, so
Are we talking about Idiocracy?
No, we were talking about
No, we're
Demolition
talking
Man.
about Demolition Man, yeah.
Oh,
Demolition Man
so
is
wait.
kind of Idiocracy, by the way.
So I just got an idea. A Chex Quest license of this called Chex War, where you're trying to kill Chex peppers.
this is what needs to be made with.
Chex Lords.
S capital WAR.
Chex Lords.
Chex War. I'm a Chex Lord.
Fun fact.
That's gonna be my DJ name. Like a
Random.
dubstep album drops, it's gonna be like the big Chex Lord.
Oh yeah, random fun fact. In Europe, the game Biker Mice from Mars on the SNES, for some reason, only in Europe, has a bunch of endorsements for Snickers every which where.
I mean, honestly, Snickers is a pretty good thing to be endorsed by. Those
Oh,
things are pretty good.
It's my favorite candy bar.
Yeah. Give me
Well, that's
money,
weird
Mars.
though, because I don't think the Europeans. I
Well,
don't think
I
that's like a
thought-
European thing. Is Snickers like when I think of
I thought it
European
was
candy
Mars
bars?
bar.
Yeah.
Seriously though, Mars had better pay me some royalties now.
Okay,
Like,
what
we're
the hell?
talking big bucks here.
What am I doing with my life here?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, hey, more hobos to ramp over. I have
Yes.
purpose again.
Seriously, okay, Dr. Sparkle is just like in an ongoing conversation with like everybody I follow except for me. Like, this bugs me so much. He's talking about Zima. I have so many things to say about Zima. I'd be riffing on Zima left and right, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
So, one of my friends just asked if I wanted like $20 in royalty. Add a few more zeros to that.
$20 in royalties. What for though?
Endorsing Mars bars.
Oh.
With the Zero Bar, white chocolate and chocolate nougat.
That is a very
that
strange
Sky
candy
Wars?
bar.
Mind around that. Wrap your mind around that.
Yo, you ever try Sky Bars? Those things are like some next level stuff. Like those things are like chocolate, caramel, marshmallow, peanut butter, honestly.
I love when snack foods are described as being like advanced or next level. Like, are you prepared for this thing that liquidates an entire week's worth of exercise?
Gives you more blood sugar than you'll need in like a month.
This is not a snack food for weenies. This is for real.
It's not for nubs.
Dudes, this is a lifestyle choice. Opening a bag of Doritos and ingesting it in one sitting is a lifestyle choice that may be with you for decades.
Take these lemon lime corn chips, grind them up, inject them into your eyes. There's no way to return.
Something about this subject
I would
is
not have gone
incredibly
that far,
90s.
but
Okay, I need the
So you
red
just
key,
ramped
but I don't
up
think it's in
another
this
hobo.
map. Oh, wait, is it? I don't remember.
So yeah, Tech's actually druggy takes you ramp off more hobos in a day.
Yes,
I think
exactly.
that's part of like the side effects of tech is it makes you collapse in a heap and then your body petrifies into a skateboard ramp. Okay, so here's one thing I did actually prepare for this podcast is to talk about cyberpunk drugs, like fake drugs. It's one of my favorite things because one thing I've noticed about anytime you're like, if you're going to invent like a creepy, weird, futuristic world where nothing is as it seems and everybody takes drugs, it's like the drug always like kills you within like minutes. Like it never really makes sense. Like nobody would really take these drugs if they were what they do in that media, right?
You wouldn't think they would now.
Like, I mean, tech seems to be like, I'm not really sure. Tech is like, the best I can tell, is a super addictive psychoactive agent that the delivery mechanism is a microchip somehow. I think maybe you crush the microchips into powder and snort them. It may be that way.
Oh, you're crackling.
It would be a podcast that didn't have at least once at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something to do with Skype and Max. I don't know.
The drugs are taking over your neural systems.
Okay, you do a bumper attack and remain unaffected. Okay? I don't think so. But like, I don't really know. Like, but there's no real obvious real life analogs to tech. It's
PCP.
But if there, yeah, I was gonna say PCP or maybe LSD. Like, almost every fake cyberpunk drug is basically LSD, but with a different delivery mechanism. The thing about, like, I would say PCP, JoJo, except that William Shatner has definitely tried LSD. Like, he was of that era. Like, he could have tried it when it was still legal. And
well, that's the thing. Like,
you know, he did, and I just wish I were in that room when it happened. The stuff he would say.
I'm pretty sure that it was just like the Rocket Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe that
thing
is
from
Rocket
that Rock It's Man. He's like basically a second Shatner just walked out, you know, of him and started talking to him and just kind of having a conversation.
The crazy thing is that we could see his hallucinations, like the giant Shatner head that appears next to Shatner.
Mars is the kind of place you want to raise your kids.
People, if you haven't seen that video yet, it's really one of the greatest things in life. And
Look how the guy who wrote the song introduces it. Does anybody know that? Did anybody know
Bernie Toller.
Bernie
Taupin. It's like
Bernie Taupin.
It's like
he's like,
yep.
I have no idea why I'm here. Thank you for the like. I always imagine the people who do that. Like, I just imagine him walking off stage and just getting handed a stack of cash. Like, thank you. But no, like I don't. I mean, I don't really understand what tech is. I don't know why the kids are into it. The tech parties and all that.
No, but that's the thing. Like, you know, you were talking about like why would they take these drugs, and that's the reason I was bringing up PCP, because basically, I really don't know why you'd want to take that. You know, it's kind of like it makes you feel like the Incredible Hulk, but like without the superpowers, and just end up like destroying yourself. And
But you see, like there is a like a high to it that you can survive, whereas with tech, it apparently turns you into a, you know, like a dirt bike ramp.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Also, I just got a message from William Shatner over Usenet. Apparently, tech is actually made from those old tech toys. Like, they grind them up and just put them in a really terrible mold, and then
AOL diskettes.
Yeah.
RAM chips in your old gateway. Yeah. Yeah, it's possible. Like, my favorite, like, I mean, okay, so the ultimate cyberpunk drug is not really a cyberpunk drug, but it is Spice from the Dune series, right?
Yeah.
Like, Spice has made its way into, it was basically, it's the only thing I know of that was adopted wholesale into both the Star Wars universe and the Star Trek universe, right?
I think so, yeah.
I
Spice
think
are the worms. The worms are the spice.
Well, the worms aren't ever mentioned in those other things, but like the spice as a drug is just too cool a name, I think, for the sci-fi writers not to use. It was incorporated into Star Wars novels like as early as like 1980, I think, like with the like Han Solo novels. Well, actually, no, it was incorporated into the original script because C-3PO says will be sent to the spice mines of Kessel and smashed into who knows what. So apparently, the way you get this drug in the Star Wars universe is you send like gay robots into the mine.
Yeah, I need to restart this mission.
And there's spice in Star Trek, right? I believe it was
probably.
One of my options.
Isn't that what isn't that what Quark serves at his like, or like he deals it?
I haven't seen much Deep Space Nine, I have to admit.
I haven't watched that show since it was on the air.
Yeah, I'm not
so I don't really remember.
I haven't seen that one at all, honestly.
It's supposed to be really good, but I have no interest in like watching a Star Trek show that is all about a spaceship that doesn't move at all.
That's kind of how they had to go out of their way to make it interesting. It's more political drama than anything else.
Yeah, that's what people have said. Like, I totally recognize that opinion as valid. It's so much easier to just discount it offhand and never watch it.
I just kind of thought it looked like space.
You know,
I
just thought something. This map's called Free 1, but what would the reason for that be?
I don't know. Maybe it's all those wicked sick hobo tricks you can do.
Yeah, freestyling.
Freestyle map 1 and 2.
Hobo Ollie.
You know what's funny is that if I took that, I could probably take the hobo sprite and put it into Doom and actually make it so that it actually flings the player off into a random direction. It's not hard to do.
F-Zero ramp.
That'd be great.
It not only launches you up, but it accelerates you. What was it? Okay, so Spice is like the cyberpunk drug, even though it was debuted in Doom and is used in non-cyberpunk things. It is like the concept of a universe that revolves around a narcotic substance. Yeah. So like Spice is the original, and if you haven't, like, to seriously stop watching us do this, because seriously, there are so many reasons not to watch us do this. But the best one is that you are reading Doom. You know, that's a great reason for not paying attention to it.
Yeah, you can get too distracted by thick, obtuse terminology and lengthy plot.
It's so good.
Well, did they release that documentary yet on the 1970s attempt to make a movie?
I don't.
The one that had H.R. Geiger or Giger.
Well, that, but then it had Salvador Dali as the Emperor.
Oh, that sounds cool.
I remember
And he was going to film every scene on a toilet. That was his contract.
I'd watch
Wasn't it like $1 million a day or something too?
Yeah, it was just like really ridiculous.
Salvador Dali, like the contract itself is part of the artwork. You know, like you got to understand this. Like whether he holds people to it or not, you know, that would be part of the joke. I guess.
Well, that's the thing. He probably wouldn't sign it unless it was like parchment made from a bunch of dried.
He would sign it with his mustache.
Made from the
dip
skin of
his
endangered
full
animals.
mustache into ink and sign it by smashing his face onto the paper.
Yeah,
that's how he got that key.
No, but I know that Jodorowsky, Mobius, all these like famous people worked on it. I forget which musician, but someone from
Tangerine Dream or something, right?
Well, I thought it was somebody from. I thought Brian May was involved too, but like there was just a bunch of
probably
like
Art Garfunkel or something that doesn't make any sense to us. We just blocked it out of our minds.
But no, it would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, so Spice is like, but everybody should read Dune because it's incredible.
I actually celebrated my graduation by reading Dune in its entirety.
It's so good. It's one of those things.
How long did that take you?
It takes
about 2 weeks, I want to say.
Gotta read like the first 150 pages. You just gotta accept that you will not understand or care about anything that happens. It's kind of like The Sound and the Fury. Like you just sort of have to accept that the first part of it is nonsense, and then you read the rest, and then it'll all click into place immediately, and you'll be hooked. But it is really an awesome game, and Spice is a really cool concept. It's a drug that is completely legal.
Wait, game or book?
Did I just say game?
Yes.
Yeah, well, there was actually an awesome game based off.
There was, yeah, the Dune 2 game, right?
That was the original RTS, right?
That wasn't the first Dune game though. The original was an adventure game, I think. Hence Dune 2 for the RTS
It was an
game.
adventure game that actually did have some, I think, proto-RTS elements in it, but that one was also surprisingly good. Developed by Cryo, the makers of KG.
The game Mule with the the acronym.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like a Dune game.
Oh yeah, I guess that was one of the very first RTS style games.
Anyway, so Spice, yeah, it's awesome. Dune, awesome. Definitely a predecessor to Tech. It is the drug of choice in Star Wars, in Star Trek, as far as I can remember. And I am unwilling to verify that. My favorite cyberpunk drug, I know there's one in William Gibson's Neuromancer, right? What is it called? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter, but it's like another like jacket into your brainstem kind of drug. Brainstems are always involved in these things for some reason.
Get you high faster, I guess. I don't know.
The best one, in terms of like deadly highs, is from the novel Snow Crash, which is so far, fortunately, avoided a movie adaptation. But if you haven't read it, and you should, read it even before you read Dune, because it goes a lot faster. Snow Crash is a computer virus that works in tandem with like a quasi-psychoactive drug of the same name, I think. The delivery mechanism is powder, which you can snort or, mix into your Lipton iced tea or something. And that is, but the high in the spread of the computer virus element apparently occurs in virtual reality, I think. And I might be getting this wrong because never really understood this part of the book, but it's so cool just to think about. I think the drug is somehow like a weaponized version of the Sumerian language, which in the story is kind of presented as a sort of firmware for the brainstem, which is
gravy for the brain.
So, I have a question. Could I get snow served as part of a really disgusting kale smoothie?
I'm just gonna keep going. So it's like a firmware for the brainstem, right? And the brainstem is in turn described as, I believe, the BIOS of the human mind. This book is so good. I wrote this down so I would remember it. I had to look at my book, copy of the book to figure it out. The Snow Crash virus / drug is somehow related to the Sumerian goddess Ashara, who was a sort of linguistic virus transmitted by hearing or speaking malicious Sumerian code.
Yeah, sure sounds
anyway,
like
you take the Snow Crash drug, and apparently the high is basically the same as being placed into a permanent catatonic state. Like, I don't know why anyone else takes the drug.
It's like,
wow, this guy has been completely out of commission for weeks.
So wait, how do
starving
you...
to death? Maybe I should take this drug.
How do you get addicted to a drug that kills you the first time you take it,
I
basically?
don't know. That's the problem with tech, really. With Snow Crash, like, they just established that this is a kind of like a party drug that people just die from, but nobody kind of believes that you're dead because they only witness it happening in virtual reality, so they might think it's a gag or something. But with tech, I believe it seems to kill you pretty much right away. And so yeah, that's a good question. How do people become addicted to it? It's come through. Like the question we had last podcast, which actually hasn't been finished edited and uploaded yet for various reasons, where I think I cut it out. We were talking about how the episode of King of the Hill where Hank Hill fishes with crack rocks. And it's like, how do the fish get addicted to the crack rocks if by eating them they would just die? You can't become addicted to something by osmosis. You know, like peer pressure is definitely a powerful force, but it's not that powerful.
So, you know what I say as far as good fishing techniques go?
There was a blue key on this map, and now I cannot find it. That is not good. Do I even need it? I forget. Stinger, do you remember if I need only the blue key or the red key?
I'd like to say that you only really need the red one, so...
Yeah, and the tech lord's going to be right by the...
yeah, he's right at the start of the map. I know where the tech lord is, I just couldn't remember which key I needed. If I needed
someone in the chat correcting me about Snow Crash?
Probably.
I want to say so, yeah.
Now, Gore Captain's just saying that Snow Crash is his favorite novel of all time.
So, Gord Captain, was I basically right?
It's just a... Sure. I think so.
Weaponized version of the Sumerian language.
That we're all just kind of a joint hallucination.
What a twist!
I've been like totally lost so far in this conversation.
It's okay. It doesn't really make sense, and it's not worth following. It's really something you just got to be on there for the ride, you know? The wave is forever.
So, it's a William S. Burroughs book.
Yes.
Nothing against someone with an initial.
One and only novel called Tarantula. It's pretty much the same thing.
Tarantula? Is that
yeah, except he got paid a lot more to write it.
Wait, who wrote it?
Bob Dylan wrote a book called Tarantula that makes zero sense, but he got paid a bunch of money. Whereas I think William S. Burroughs got paid in like old magazines. Yeah, I know.
Dog food.
Yeah, I mean, William S. Burroughs is awesome. I'm not dissing Burroughs, but
you don't have to worry. He's dead.
We have a better
Well,
He's not gonna sue.
he could still decide to shoot me. I'm not the great.
Send Spectral mobsters to punch you in the kidney.
His ghost could possess Peter Weller, and then you'd be.
He'll send the Nova Mob after you.
Yeah.
All right, now we are in the Matrix. Oh boy.
God.
And just when he thought it was over,
It's another Shat attack.
It gets worse, people. You haven't seen anything.
This is basically like the Wily Fortress of TekWar.
It's also really slowing the game down, so I might actually have to crank up the
Would
cycles
that be a
on
good
this.
comparison, you think, Satenga?
Yeah, that's not a bad way of putting it.
Oh crap, I need to actually restart this because I forgot to get ammo.
All we just need is that music that keeps getting played all the time. I
And
feel
I'll
I
also
should-
save at the start too because
And
Doritos.
science fiction was so cool before the Matrix happened. Like, the Matrix ruined everything. You think about it, and you know it's true. You know in your heart it's true.
Yeah, it.
It did. It ruined everything.
It ruined games for a while, too, with bullet time and
It
everything.
did. It really did. It ruined
Wait.
everything.
Max Payne was awesome though.
Yeah, Max Payne was
Well,
good.
yeah, but
And Max Payne 2 was great also. 3.
Debate. Nah, 3's no good.
Do you
Well,
fight
that's a-
disembodied hands in this level?
You can, yes. You are, in fact, a disembodied hand, though.
So you're like, it's like you're like that thing from Zelda that pulls you back to the beginning.
I think. I don't know.
You know what was much cooler yet had somewhat more minimalist graphics? The cyberspace scenes and system shock.
yeah,
Or the
like
movie
it,
Tron.
honestly, the cyberspace stages in this are just like a friggin' mess. Like those are all relatively consistent in aesthetics and their
In TekWar
textures.
universe, do you navigate the internet with a power glove? Is that what's?
Yeah, I believe you do, actually. I believe that is actually
I think
accurate.
that really is. That's what I recall it being. It's like it doesn't make any sense, but that's how you do it. It's like, all right, time to surf the internet. Power glove
And here's a little fun
in
fact.
front of you and start like feeling the air.
If your ammunition is full, then the globes that you collect to restore your ammo instead become inanimate obstacles you cannot pass.
Actually, that's true in the main game with regular stuff, too. Like, if you have full health and you try to pick up a health pickup, it's a solid object.
Wow, I didn't even notice that. It extended to
all of them are like that,
Yeah, it's
actually.
actually, honestly, Magnum Solid's actually rendered the game unwinnable a few times for me.
I guess it's realistic, but Jeebus.
Man, this thing looks like you're lost in like an installation at the Guggenheim. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. Like this texture choice is just a total cluster fudge.
It gets worse. This isn't even the worst of the ones.
Yeah, there's the bright red Angerland.
It looks like you're in the guts of a Windows 95 screensaver.
It really
even
does,
better,
yes.
even better. So Tenga, kudos. That's exactly what I was thinking as soon as you said it.
Virus detected.
So when did the flying
I
toasters appear?
I always really loved that maze screensaver, though. I wish that was a
is really
playable
cool.
game.
I feel that. Yeah, me too.
A game based off of that would be better than this.
in the 3D pipe squiggles, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
that's
in your face and now it's far away. In your face, far away pipe. In your face again.
okay. Sarbrew, I kind of
Screensavers. Man, what happened? We could do an episode on screensavers.
I love the After Dark pack so much. I mean, I wish I would extend it to
Trying person speaks to me.
my favorite was
I-
Daredevil Dan.
If TekWar had not already murdered my soul, I would say yes. Yes, it would.
No, but TekWar happened and there's nothing left in his head but TekWar.
Take Tech and die. Take Tech and die.
Yep.
Tek and die.
He says it in the weirdest way. Like I don't think any human could possibly utter it other than William Shatner. Take Tech and die.
Take Tech and die.
is that anything like
Tech was an analog for William Shatner's mind. Like, what if it wasn't a drug, but it was like, something else?
Like a channel into his soul or something.
Yeah, like
That's why it kills you
some
because you
different
can't
kind of
can't comprehend the greatness of William Shatner's soul. You can't take it all into yourself at once.
I want to like, okay, another William Shatner related anecdote from my life is the best screenplay that ever came out of the one screenwriting class I took was a friend of mine, not really even a friend of mine, it's just I think I mostly befriended her because of this script, because it was so funny to me. But she wrote a romantic comedy about a woman who falls in love with William Shatner's no good younger brother, Danny Shatner.
Is that an actual human being? Is that an actual?
No, it's not. Like in their screenplay, William Shatner lived in the same house as Danny Shatner, and there was like a fireman's pole between two floors. William Shatner could like swoop down and like stop Danny Shatner from doing something stupid. And the best scene is where it takes place at like like they're going to pick up something at Leonard Nimoy's house, and they go into his house, and it's covered with like posters of every media project he's ever done except for Star Trek. And he's just like I don't know, it's not really like him at all, but it was really funny. But I still love the no good younger brother of William Shatner, Danny Shatner, who is to me as real as any other person. I mean, she tried to make it like a real romantic comedy too. She wasn't like making fun of the genre. She really wanted it to be like this. She's like, it's like, I was like, does Danny Shatner like look like William Shatner? He's like, no, he's attractive. He's also like 20 years younger. It was really good. I think the script started out with the main character waking up next to William Shatner, and that's actually her introduction to the no good Danny Shatner, is that he's like making breakfast when she wakes up. But it actually starts out with an affair with William Shatner or something like that. Which, like, how do you live that down? Or how do you live up to it? How do you earn that? How do you earn it? You could spend the rest of your life trying to earn that. This is giving me epilepsy right here.
Is it actually really?
It might be. I don't know.
I would look away from the screen if you're starting to get really tired.
I'm not epileptic. I'm just saying that if epilepsy could be transmitted by live stream, it would be happening right now.
This is mentioned. This is where the game's map design gets just disgusting.
I think the game is actively trying to kill you now.
I think this might actually be a level from Descent that was just.
Descent had way better level design than this game, though. Like way better.
You could go in 3 directions, and this you're just the disembodied Power Glove.
I almost want you to be playing Descent right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that installed currently. I'll show off some other games after this though to wash out the bad taste.
Gourd Captain never answered my question. I think the Gourd Captain left the ship.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
Maybe he was
It's funny, every time I
don't
start
know.
talking, like 2 people leave the stream.
Also, that's some sweet texture alignment work, Capstone.
Oh man, that should go on our t-shirt. Should be Hardcore Gaming 101 on the front, and on the back it should say, that is some sweet texture alignment, Capstone.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, I would too.
Let's get cafe press on this. Let's do it.
Place the key.
Yeah.
That should be like a whole
I would buy
line
the
of,
shirt and then never wear it.
Intimate wear and everything. Like it sums up the entire Hardcore Gaming 101 experience right there. I'm gonna write this down before I forget it, because I know I'm gonna forget it. Because I've been trying to think of something to put on a t-shirt for a very long time. Just a minute, so you don't hear me typing.
Could you say that phrase again? I'm sorry, my brain's pretty.
That's some sweet texture alignment there, Capstone.
Yeah, my own brain's starting to poop out. It's actually 1 a.m. on my end. I'm not going to go away just yet, but I think I do at least need a drink.
Okay, so I went that one. I need to go to the right one now.
Why do I need a drink? If you're
trying to do these in relative logical order.
I'm going to talk to Kurt about that tonight if I can.
About making a t-shirt. Ow! The invisible saw blades are killing me. Oh god. Yeah, some of the enemies in this are perfectly like thin saw blades for some reason, and they're almost impossible to see.
Trip.
Probably.
Like, did you drop or snort whatever tech to get here?
I don't know. They don't explain what the purpose of this is, or how you got here.
If I would make a drug that did this to you, I would just call it Tron.
I just realized something.
Yes, but that's copyright infringing, you see.
But it's a drug. It's like you're not on the market anyway. It's like
what? Oh, I know it.
So I just
Call
realized
whatever you
something
want.
else.
You could call it like Avengers 2. Whatever. It's like.
Okay, so tech is a mind-destroying mess that kills off pretty much anyone who would touch it, and you have to be crazy to use it, right?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
And this game's pretty much the same exact thing, so this game must be a simulation of a tech trip.
I think it is. Yeah. That's a good point. I just.
But Xerxes,
gained a lot
here's the
more
thing,
respect for this game.
Both of those movies that you mentioned are Disney movies, and I think you'd rather deal with like Mexican cartels that will hang you by your intestines from like a road sign than with Disney. Because I know, I'm just saying though that like Disney is like they sue cake like bakery places for.
I know, that's so great.
Yeah, I know. It's just like lame. It's like,
do it.
You guys have enough money. Come on.
What they should do is just be like, the problem is not Donald Duck on the cake. The problem is that this Donald Duck sucks. And you should be ashamed of yourself selling this. We're suing you as a public service.
So I should mention that there's one thing in this map in particular that just makes no sense. There's this one room that's just a star room and it has like a little pumpy looking machine in it.
Yeah, I
and
can show that off.
Yeah, there's no real purpose to it. It's just kind of.
That's this entire set of that's this entire level though. It's just like none of it serves any purpose. It's there to waste your time.
Thing could be a Peter Gabriel video, and you would never know.
I'm wondering if Capstone have actually intended anything with that because it uses a totally unique graphic. It's got a pretty meticulous animation to it for what it is.
Yeah, the giant chomper jaw.
Yeah, like I'm wondering if there was ever.
Yeah, looks like they borrowed that from 1998.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they ever actually intended to do anything with that.
It's probably a whole other game that never happened. They were playing spin-offs, keychains.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's the playpen texture.
Yeah, the mutant glowing playpen.
Tech Trip Chomper Jaws.
Tech Trip Chomper Jaws. Take Tech and meet Chomper Chomp. He's your best friend. He'll bite you. I call the big one Bitey.
I'm back. Did I miss anything important?
Hang on. Are we in a Pac-Man maze? Is that it?
Maybe.
You were straight up tech tripping, man.
Chomper Chomp.
I hate this part so much. I was stumbling around it for.
You see, that's how they get
hour.
people hooked on tech. Maybe they're like man children and they like the idea of meeting Chomper Chomp.
I think here's my theory. Okay, I just came up with this right now. Tech is a screensaver for your brain.
Oh!
It never quits. It just freezes.
Isn't that like what basically a dream is?
Well, yeah, kinda.
The tech is so much more than, well.
We're getting pretty philosophical here. Not that that's a bad thing, mine. It's just.
No. That's not what a dream is because tech is better than your dream. It's more real than your dreams.
So the tech
like,
is.
I'm into lucid dreaming. It's like try to be a lucid tech tripper. You can't.
Okay, so when you play a tech, you play Super Real Darwin.
See, right now you think you're going through a maze, but what's really happening is you collapse in an alley and some dudes are doing skateboard tricks off your spine. That's what's happening. This is like a 3D version of Section Z right here. What is this is crazy.
This whole segment just is crazy. Hopefully I can show it all off because it's like the worst of 90s
See, that's you,
FPS
like, that's
level
you
design.
frying your own neurons, right?
Yeah,
It's all a metaphor, like virus detected. Yeah.
Man.
I know we should have Cal do that, like the main character just lying there, like drooling and.
Just people do it sweet, just ramps
Like
up.
how he drew Pino for Wonder Project.
Spider-Man's like doing some crazy grind. The Tony Hawk 2 joke there, kids. You may not remember Tony Hawk 2. You may not know who Tony Hawk is. But there used to be these games where...
I think Doom Guy was actually in one of them. I forget which one.
Yeah, Shrek was too.
I want to say Doom Guy is in the PC port of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I think it's because they couldn't get the rights to use Wolverine, so it was in the console versions.
I gotta
At
find the one
that
that
point,
Shrek's in. Just
Marvel's so
just
bankrupt that you could get Wolverine to show up at your birthday party for like $25. Like,
Super Shrek Brothers.
Wait, really? Marvel's in financial straits at the moment?
No, it's just
not at
that
the moment.
Wolverine
And
is just everywhere.
Oh,
no, but when Tony Hawk 3 was out, Marvel was bankrupt, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Like, completely bankrupt. Like morally and financially. Like, they were just completely gone.
That was like 2000 or so, right?
Well,
Yeah.
actually, okay, they filed for Chapter 11 or something, and they got bought by the toy company that made their toys, and then they kind of pulled through it. Yeah, but
that must be like to be a garbage bag. Like if you're a garbage bag and then suddenly like you were consumed by, like you were forced to swallow the box that you arrived in. It's some kind of weird like. Nah, never mind. It doesn't make any sense.
Like we're talking
Sorry,
like
guys. Tech. I'm tripping tech balls right now. Like I just can't.
Like honestly,
I'm
pretty sure trying to swallow a large cardboard box full would be preferable to playing this game. To be honest with you. Or wait, did you mean like eating the whole thing in
You
one
have to commit
go?
seppuku with a frisbee.
Actually, it's commit seppuku
For
with
real
a pillow.
ultimate power.
And one of the friends I've watching the streams just advised me to do tech, and honestly, I feel like just by being here, I'm simulating the experience pretty well.
I only just now realized I forgot to post a stream link in the IRC channel.
Yeah, don't worry. I
Didn't
got
someone
it,
else
actually.
do that? Well, you can still do it now because I'm still not done with the game yet. So
Yeah, I did. It's just that we've been on this for like 2 hours now. I really should have. Shoot. Yeah, Lance didn't know.
Man, we can keep going with other games out of this, maybe.
You know, I think I was playing this bit of TekWar while I had the flu, or maybe did I play this entire game while I had the flu? I'm trying to remember now. I think
That
so.
has been quite an experience, I bet.
It made the flu worse somehow. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, tech was just bad juju as a whole.
Well, at least you can have a fever or something. I think it would blow your mind.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I had a fever this time. I usually don't get fevers.
Also, I gotta wonder, what's up with that big gate-looking thing right there? Like, it uses a totally unique texture.
That's this entire game. I bet you if you looked in the
marking your
resources, half
territory,
of it would just be this cyberpunk bullcrap.
Yeah. Like, the map design in the cities at least looked decent, even if it wasn't all that fun to play, but this is just... ugh.
And there's a final stage after this, too.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, also, just a heads up, for those of you who are considering giving this a go, be sure to write down which places you've been to in cyberspace. Yeah, I didn't do that, and let me tell you, even with help from all these guys, I was
It's
there
because
for
you didn't do the blue one, and that's the one you should always do is the blue cube maze one first.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like a given among all cyberpunk FPS games of the 90s. Do the blue cube maze first. And, yeah.
Do the cube maze first.
Blue cube maze, not the green cube maze.
Don't touch the green button.
Was it Tron? Was it Tron that invented the gigantic 3D green laser grid as a representation of being sucked into a computer somehow? Is that Tron's
I'm not
invention?
sure.
Although, to be honest, I get the feeling it might have come from the common grid diagnostic display thing you see with a lot of modern calibration stuff. That's just all speculation on my part, though.
Well,
Yeah,
they
but
did.
in Tron. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, they did that in. I can't remember. Was Escape from New York before that? Because I thought that was 1981. They did a simulation of that for like when he was entering, he was using this vehicle. Yeah, and they had like a wireframe kind of like HUD, I guess, for everything. But it was actually they were filming stuff with reflective tape on boxes painted black.
Yes, I actually read about that one, and I thought it was a really clever trick considering the budget they were working with. And wasn't we actually holding like E-samples or something like that?
Would make sense.
Yeah, the initial release for Escape from New York was July 10th, 1981. The initial release for Tron was July 9th, 1982. So it's very, very almost exactly...
That was my birthday. That was my birthday.
Which one?
I was born on July 9th, 1982. You're telling me that the movie
You're a
Tron
Tron
came
baby!
out
Oh my God!
the day I was born.
Yeah.
Also, I'm just gonna say this
I
is
might be the
another.
Messiah. I might be the Messiah of this new age.
I'm just gonna say this is another really
Tech talk.
confusing bit. Sorry.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Are
that's
you serious?
I'll just post that, and then I'll find a second source to corroborate because, professors nowadays hate for you to use Wikipedia.
Also,
if there's one thing Wikipedia is going to be correct about, it's the release date of Tron. I'm just saying, I have to sit down like that.
So, sorry, I can't even tell. Are you making progress?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. This part's really a slog.
It's hard to tell if you are, but you are. Yeah. I am, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're losing your key things, aren't you?
Yes.
A picture of something. Is that what you were talking about? That person
what is
who
this?
who's playing
Yeah.
games. What
Yeah,
game were
that's,
they playing in that picture?
That's Rescue Rangers.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I can see Dale or whoever with the
Box,
Hawaiian shirt holding a nondescript block. And there's the Chucky doll and the IKEA furniture there.
Yeah, that's let's see. Yeah, that's the.
Why are they doing this? What is that?
That's her
Why are there
house.
so many women in the room? This doesn't make any sense at all.
Wait,
That's her house, though.
Huh?
Yeah, she's got she has a museum in her place.
That's her. If you have a room that size in your home and you live in Japan, you are trading in tall stacks of cash.
But you'll have
That's
to go she's got.
That's like the size of a first grade classroom in Japan.
Yeah.
It's really, really big.
She has to be because she's got some not just video game stuff, but she has like a lot of vintage toys and stuff. It's like really, it's real interesting. She posts a bunch of cool stuff.
It's weird because yeah.
And once again,
She
sweet
seems
texture
cool,
alignment.
except her face is like 90% eyeballs. Her eyes are huge, or her face is really, really small.
Okay, if you're gonna make a grid texture like this, at least make sure all the parts line up properly.
That's cool.
So
Anyway,
featured in this
Rescue
Mutant Tron playpen are what appears to be either peanuts or floating pieces of poop. I can't tell which.
Who says they can't be both?
Poop nuts.
I
Cyber.
think it's really cute.
It's a literal
She
CGI
says
turd.
in English is
I will tell you, they
This
are.
entire game is poop nuts.
Yeah. You're telling me.
These are Cracker Jacks. Cracker Jacks. You heard it here. I was born the day
Cyber
Tron
Cracker
came out. Just top that. Top that.
I have the worst analogy I could give to you finding this out. I'm gonna hate myself forever. This is like the exact opposite of when Sephiroth found out he was born from Genova. Did I make a Final Fantasy VII reference?
You did. You did. And now you have to die. Someone hang up.
There are no worries, my son.
Now
There are no worries. I permit it.
Okay. Thank you, God.
You are absolved.
Cybertron.
Yes.
Jesus.
Please call me Jeff Bridges.
Okay, now we might get sued for that one.
No, we won't.
Jeff Bridges does not sue anybody.
He's a really
Jeff
cool
Bridges
guy.
comes over your house and drinks your beer. That's what he does. Like he doesn't.
Wow, that's the coolest
Uncool,
punishment
dude.
ever.
I'm cool, dude. Using my name, that's a drag. I'm coming over to your house, and I'm drinking your low-calorie Trader Joe's lemonade.
Yeah,
Sounds like a really good dream. I wish I had that.
Yeah, we knew your secret, William Shatner.
I cannot believe I was born the day Tron came out.
I was born the same month the first Warcraft game came out.
The same month. I'm talking about the day Tron came out.
I don't think anything important. I can't really say.
I'm gonna have to finish cooking up this batch of Tron that I was making when I invented the drug.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say I don't think anything.
Let me see what happened on my birthday.
I've got to check this out too. I don't think anything can match up.
Invasion of Normandy. How old are you? Oh man, these rooms are getting even weirder. Like they're just spider webs of nonsense.
Pray for the souls.
I feel like my brain has to throw up. Like, what is going on here?
Apparently they had the fall of communism in Albania when I was born, so that's cool, I guess.
Apparently the day I was born
There
is...
you go.
So apparently the day I was born, an 8.1 earthquake hit the Philippines, killing 45 people.
Yeah, that's not as cool as Tron coming out, though.
Did we lose Filipino viewers just now?
Do we have anybody from the Philippines watching
No,
this?
that was not a joke at the expense of.
It's not cool at all.
I did not. I was not.
Night Dreamer
damn
lives
it.
in the Philippines.
Why couldn't it be born like the day?
Oh yeah, Night Dreamer.
The day.
Is he watching this though?
Probably not,
Ah.
because he's too busy watching NBA stuff. I'm sure.
Ah.
If you're younger than me, like
Having a life.
substantially, then like the best you could hope for is being born like the day like the Mortal Kombat movie came out. Like, what was the other good video game movie?
Unfortunately, my birthday
I
was.
think it is Mortal Kombat.
My
I
birthday
think
was.
that is the other good video game movie.
My birthday was the death of George O'Hanlon, the voice of George Jetson. So I knew I was jinxed.
Oh, it's a bummer.
I'm sorry.
I
for
guess
being...
Jane really did stop that crazy thing. Permanently.
We are going to hell forever. Now we're in the Hall of Judgment.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Judgment.
Now we did the Hall of Judgment.
That I don't know what I wish I had that soundboard that Ray Barnhold does, because
I considered getting a soundboard app to use for a show, but it seems like it would not work very well for us. Like, I don't like we interrupt each other enough without having just obnoxious sound effects interrupting each other.
You sure about that?
And by we, I mean me. And
the royal we.
I am bad at interrupting people. In fact, the most embarrassing thing about editing this podcast is I realized that I even interrupt myself. I will not let myself finish a
Coherent thoughts.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, not just when I'm like falling asleep and babbling. You know,
Allocate yourself.
Even when the tech's not talking, you know what I'm saying? Like I just interrupt myself all the time. Like I will not let myself finish a sentence. It's really sad. I wish I did not say like most of the. Somebody else needs. I think I just need to. What we're going to do as the next podcast is whatever I say, we're going to stop. And then somebody else is going to say what I just
So far,
said.
you've been lucky,
And then we'll
you've
cut out
taken
the
down
way
all
I
the
said
tech
it.
lords, but nothing
And we'll
counts.
keep it in the way
Tech
the other person
Matrix
says it. I bet
broadcast
it'll be
node goes
twice as
online.
good and 5 times
Nika has
faster.
analyzed the information you brought back and has narrowed the
Twice
search
as good and
area
5
down
times
to the
faster?
previous
I'm not so sure.
They put up a security block in cyberspace that almost killed her. If Nika had this much trouble,
I don't
getting
know what
home,
I'm talking
They
about.
must have some of the finest
yep.
Out of my
cyber
mind.
on the net.
Tech.
If that
Oh god, he
broadcast
actually
goes
beats
online,
cyberspace.
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of lives will be affected.
That actually didn't take
All
as
that
long as I
we've
thought
worked
it
for
would.
will be
So we're
lost.
in the pathetically
Find
easy
it.
home stretch.
You won the game, but William Shatner looks so mad at you.
Oh, I didn't win the game. Actually, there's a final stage.
Also, I was born the year some versions of Radical Rex came out.
Oh, jeez. I feel bad for you, man.
Yeah, the final stage is some kind of slum. Yeah.
Super futuristic
I'm
space
assuming that's what it
slum.
is.
Cool Ranch.
It's where we all wake up after a bad night.
Yeah, the Cool Ranch TekWar slum.
We've been dropping tech.
So-
You know, our body's been used as a skateboard ramp, but at least we woke up in this nice, cozy slum.
Yeah, this is where you wake up when you take tech. Like, you pass over here and then just before you wake up, you teleported here.
You need that damn red key to get out to.
After a night of tech hype and hope.
Oh yeah, the holograms are more powerful and can actually hurt you.
Yeah, and they're invincible
Shoot
for some
in the trench
reason.
coat.
Apparently, this game actually has online
hologram.
multiplayer. I forget if it's cooperative or not. I don't think it is cooperative.
So you can have a 16-man
I think there's no way
gunfights.
anything that happens in this game will gel with any other thing, so it's probably not cooperative.
Yeah, I mean, one sparkle gun's enough.
I would actually like to play
There's
this in
one guy
multiplayer
who
and stream that at
drops
some
the
point.
tech,
Yeah, I want to see how
and
the
other
call
guy who
works.
rips.
Oh, would that be too hard to hack together using DOSBox or something?
Oh no, we've actually played a number of games in DOSBox.
Ah, cool. I'd be down for some co-op
using,
or something.
I
Co-op.
really wish we could do like One Must Fall or something.
Well, as long as it's a null modem type setup, I believe you can do it. Because I know we've played Blood co-op. We played, I forget if it was Redneck Rampage or something else we did.
I know I was discussed doing Wacky Wheels on that DOS podcast. We should still do that.
Does that actually have on null modem multiplayer?
I thought it did. Check.
Okay, so the taser doesn't work on this guy. And yes, there's a taser in this game for some reason.
Wait, there it? What? I actually didn't know about
EMP
that.
gun is completely useless. I have not seen it being able to harm anything, no matter how much I've used it.
And I've won the game.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be effective against androids and stuff. And
You blew up the final boss with a bazooka. Go you.
pathetically easy for
Now
us.
he's happy with you.
Put a lot of tech lords
On my test run, when I got to this part, my soul broke a little.
10 ready to take their place.
So for every one of those TekWars we just killed, there's apparently 10 more, so we have like 70 more of those guys to kill.
Hail Hydra!
The greatest organized threat since that nuclear bomb scare by the
And Mewtwo says the game ended
So
too
basically, you
early.
resolved nothing at all.
There are still
Yeah,
lots of
it's
other
pretty
tech
much been
lords
the
throughout
point
the
of
world
this
that
game.
need to be
There
put
was-
away.
You'll have to
and
kill
we're
7
the
more
ones to
in
do it.
TekWar 2.
By the way, I've convinced the parole
Target
officials
date
to let you stay out of the freezer.
1998.
Tech Electric
As long as you
Boogaloo.
continue to work for
So
me.
you know the best way to destroy all the tech lords?
Clear your name
Just
after
to
all.
break the game disk.
How about it?
So basically
only
at this
winning-
point, Shatner's like, yeah, if you don't actually basically become my indentured servant and kill a bunch more tech lords, I'm going to freeze you again. So it's kind of a false choice. Then again, it's William Shatner, so I'm not sure I'd turn him down either.
And CGI Turd Cityscape to close the whole shebang.
I was gonna say, you know, like basically Half-Life ripped this off then.
It was ahead of its time.
Oh god. So yeah, this was a game.
Space Legion,
This
my
looks
throat.
like this swinging around scenes from Spider-Man, the cartoon. on
It
Fox.
does, yes.
I was gonna say that like Streets of SimCity expansion.
Man.
It's like where you could drive it like SimCity 2000.
Bother. Whatever. I have no idea what they were saying at that point.
That you're right. It did sound pretty. I love how there's a giant capstone building in the background.
There was like 5 of
Capstone is just
them.
like projecting its own. It's like in the future we are going to be huge, guys. Capstone has no end.
They are the
This is
pinnacle
just
of
the beginning.
entertainment.
TekWar.
You cannot stop
There-
Capstone.
just-
You cannot end
There's nothing ironic about a company that makes some of the worst games ever made calling themselves the pinnacle of entertainment. No, sir.
Capstone is the sum of your pathetic life.
Ouch. That's existential.
There's only Capstone.
That is some sweet texture alignment there, Capstone.
Like seriously, did you see some of that shit? Like nothing actually lined up.
It's cyberspace. It doesn't have
You're
to.
absolutely right. I'm not making fun of you in particular. I'm just saying that if
Yeah, I
there was ever a conglomeration of people where you were more likely to hear that sentence, I would love to know about it because I don't think it's possible.
Honestly, I just
It was an idea Rasa and I had a long time ago. It was like we were going to put out unofficial HG 101 t-shirts that were just say like Hardcore Gaming 101. On the back would just be a quote taken from the forum, completely like out of, not even in context, out of context. Like just a quote that is so stupid and ridiculous that it could only happen here.
Honestly, if I'm saying things and you guys think they're funny, I'm doing my job.
So let's play a much better game that came out at literally the same time, or just about same year.
Wait,
We need a palate cleanser.
is Shatner himself a tech lord?
No one knows. That's
Is
the
that
question.
what we're supposed to take away from that?
Oh, that'd
Maybe.
be coincidence.
It's like he's just having you wipe out his like street level enemies so you can like horn in on their tech territory.
That's yes, that's Some kids at the municipal pool will be
hallway proceeding into infinity. I'm thinking the tech might be catching up with me in that. See you, JoJo. Thank you so much. Later.
I was actually playing this game earlier today on a completely random whim. I was at the second stage, which had awful lot of charred corpses around it.
Yeah, it did.
This game doesn't shy away from the grit. It's certainly a fair deal far removed from the squeaky clean image that most of the original. Although I guess the charred corpses may have been a reference to Luke's.
What do you mean squeaky clean? They burn Luke's parents. They blow up an entire planet of innocent people. They probably murdered many more off-screen that we don't see.
Princess Leia gets stabbed by like a truth serum syringe off camera, but nonetheless.
Yeah, you know what?
Apparently that was originally going to be a much more graphic and disturbing scene. By the way, like apparently it was going to like involve like her being like I don't know, like stripped down somewhat and. Essentially administered some kind of drug, through that. Interesting.
So what you're telling us is that the original script for Star Wars is much, much closer to the scripts for Phantom Menace and on. Because that sounds like something they would do. The lack of subtlety in that scene sounds like something that the new trilogy would do.
I don't think they. I mean, it was not something that like it was not like something. It was something that you would see like from an interrogation scene from like a 70s gangster movie.
Oh.
Like it was not like, it was just, you know what I mean? Like it was not necessarily going to be like actually lurid it would be lurid, but it would not be actually pornographic or anything like that. But I think that was originally going to be much more suggestive that, which would be even weirder when you find out that for some reason she is Darth Vader's daughter, which still does not make sense to me. Why they had to do that. It doesn't make any sense.
Is this the point where you're talking about how inferior Jedi was to the first two? Because it might be up for
it's a bad script. It's a perfectly fine movie, but the script does not make very much sense. What is Luke's plan at the beginning of Return of the Jedi? Somebody explain this to me. Why does he send R2 and C-3PO in first? Why? What is the point of this? Like, if he succeeds, and they trade the droids for him, then he still has to go rescue those droids, right? Like, what is his plan? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it does not make sense. I have no idea what he's doing. I want to just point out that earlier we saw a credit for somebody named nicknamed Captain Trips with 2 P's.
Okay, so
it's like Joe Captain Trips.
That reminds me of when I beat Power Slave, and one of the special things was the double gulp from, or double big gulp from 7-Eleven.
So they had a planet-killing plague on the dev team, and/or a Grateful Dead thing.
Yeah, I think it was a Grateful Dead thing, right?
Yeah. No, that can be either a Grateful Dead reference or a Stephen King reference, depending on what you want it to be. So
I see Grateful Dead references just about every podcast. Nobody notices.
I don't know, Grateful Dead just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. I actually used to be...
Yeah, exactly. That's why I can do it.
Yeah, I actually used to be indirectly related to Garcia, but I never actually was big on that myself.
You used to be until what? You like traveled back in time and fixed it?
Like, kind of. You know his daughter Annabelle?
Hey, dudes, I'm gonna go get a sandwich real quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright.
Anyway, his daughter Annabelle, one of my mom's brothers or something was married to him for a short while, but then they divorced or something, I don't know.
So it was a relation via marriage, technically.
Yeah. I can still use it to make myself sound more important than I am, right?
Yes. I already have more respect for you.
Oh, cool.
I don't know why. I just do.
And then I wrote a report on him in the...
my aunt apparently dated like a member of the Grateful Dead, but for some reason nobody seems to know who it was, even though she's still alive and could tell us. I just don't want to ask her about it.
You're afraid she'd go into too much detail or something, or?
No, I just don't. Like, I don't know that she wants to like talk about that stuff because it's kind of weird, you know. Like, hey, who's that member of the Grateful Dead you were totally like hooking up with? Because it's not Jerry Garcia and it's not Bob Weir. It's I think my feeling is the reason why I don't remember is probably because it was like one of their like keyboard players who died like in 1970 or something like that. You know, it's like somebody who nobody remembers.
And also, while I'm talking about this, I can say that Annabelle is the one who introduced me to Jerry Garcia. I mean, not Jerry Garcia games. What was I saying? Anyway, Eugene Jarvis games, because she owned a Sinistar cabinet. Don't know if she still does, because I've been to her place in like 14 years. But
you should just show up.
Yeah.
Hey, remember me? We used to kind of be related, sort of.
Yeah, fly over to Oregon.
Sinistar. Because I hunger.
Come on, Howard.
Honestly, I'd say Sinistar's. I'd say for playing Sinistar, breaking and entering is a fair price of admission.
Sinistar, as far as Asteroids clones go, it's up there. There's one that I played that I liked better, but I can't remember what it's called. It was like a 2-player version.
Disasteroids?
Might be Blasteroid, yeah.
My brother will like Blasteroids.
No. Hemorrhoids? No.
That is actually a Asteroids clone. Something. I think it's something Hemorrhoids.
That sounds great. What platform was it on?
Probably, if I had to guess, PC. I think Weasel was talking about it at some point.
Oh. I want to look that up at some point, but that seems like it'd be really vague. You know, Moby Games might know something.
If you know how to spell hemorrhoids,
Moby
yeah.
Games knows nothing. And I've not played Dark Forces for so long.
It's a pretty good game.
It is. I mean, I can't argue with it. It's as far as like, you know, Doom clones of that era at least, right? Like it's. I mean, in terms of level design and all that.
I guess we should talk about what Star Wars meant as a media franchise in the 90s, because before The Phantom Menace, there weren't any movies being made, but there were an awful lot of video games, most of them actually handled by LucasArts themselves, and surprisingly, a good chunk of them turned out pretty dang good.
Oh yeah, no, I mean the Star Wars games they made before they were contractually obligated to make 5 a year, or whatever it was, like were really high quality. Like you had this game, which was later, but like X-Wing and TIE Fighter. Like, imagine. I don't know. I just can't imagine that's the sad thing about LucasArts not really existing anymore, is that LucasArts was a company that had the license. They didn't have to pay for it. They had the license.
So they're free to have this. Yeah. So they
could do whatever they wanted. And if they wanted to make a game like TIE Fighter, which is anti-commercial on so many levels, you know, if you think about it. It's like, okay, so we're going to make Wing Commander, but it's Star Wars. Okay. That's already, you know, you're already kind of getting in niche territory. And you're going to play as the bad guys. You know, it's like, and you know, like the levels are going to be like military sim style missions where you're like, identify these incoming aircraft. And, you know, it's like, that's what you do in the game. It's like, if that's what the mission is, like maybe, you know, people will come in later to fight some space pirates or whatever the Empire does.
Ow.
It's like it's a very like military flight sim kind of game. They just happen to involve TIE fighters. It's like nobody's gonna make a Star Wars game like that now. Nobody.
Also, did someone just say ow?
I did, because I died. After a certain point, they stopped really giving you a lot of health and armor. It also doesn't help that it just came off of TekWar, so.
Yeah, I thought that was in response to me drinking water.
No, why would I care? No, ow, it hurts me every time you drink water. Stop doing that.
Yeah, because I kind of made the bottle crinkle a little, and I have a really sensitive microphone, so I was afraid like it picked up and made it super loud or something.
No.
Sounds like somebody's got a ping pong ball stuck in their throat. Things always sound so gross on these microphones.
Yeah. Which is really why I've been making such a big deal of having been totally vacated for this. Mainly because I'm in a friggin' dorm, and because as mentioned, this thing's stupidly sensitive, so like this thing would probably pick up a pen being dropped from the side of the room.
Well, it is an enclosed area, so.
Who are the dudes in the Imperial Armed Forces who have the gigantic helmets?
I don't
the
know.
Death Star gunners.
Yeah, like who?
I think those are like
Okay,
the.
so
I think those are just
Yeah.
like Imperial commanders, I believe.
What is the point of making them wear like a giant salad bowl?
I don't know. Maybe it's punishment for
Okay,
crimes
here's
committed.
your uniform. It is a turtleneck, some Dockers, and a gigantic black salad bowl with a
And by
strap.
the way, just to be sure, do you mean these guys?
Let me see.
Or wait, maybe you mean the ATST pilots or something like that?
No, I'm talking about the guys with the gigantic, huge helmets.
Yeah, I'm thinking you might mean the AT-AT pilots. Let me grab a picture of
Yeah,
those
yeah,
guys.
yeah. You're right. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, there's some guys who don't even have like the rest of that helmet. They just have like the top of it. That guy looks surprisingly well outfitted. You know what he reminds me of?
Yeah.
Actually,
These dudes?
here's something that, without JoJo here, this doesn't make any sense. But he reminds me of the old Televipers, the GI Joe toys.
I can kind of see that.
Televipers were communications mercenaries. So it's something to do with your communications major. You know, you join Cobra, and but they apparently carried microwave guns that shot microwaves.
Oh wait, it was an Imperial
They
command.
involved Cobra members. I don't think that exact costume that you linked to does not seem to appear in the original movies, right?
Oh, Xerxes, I
It's
think
like an
you mean,
elaboration.
I think you mean these guys. It was commandos, not commanders. My bad.
Huh.
So this is one of few in a very, very, very tiny pantheon of FPS games that does not let you save anywhere you want to, at least on the PC, and also has lives.
Yeah, unlike
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, JoJo. That's right.
JoJo. Hi.
So it's
JoJo
not the same
Soting,
helmet
sorry.
type. Yeah.
Nah, it's okay. We're all our minds are all a little
Teched out.
Yeah, we're in tech withdrawal.
Yeah, sorry. Like the tech is just rushing into my brainstem right now.
Don't like
I like
the tech, but the tech hates me. Also,
I like that this person who ripped this sprite of this guy has the blocking lasers with his wrists.
yep. Yeah, Sprayer's
Sure, of course.
a pretty awesome page.
I mean, from the back, this guy looks pretty hot. Like he's got, he looks like a brick house. You know what I'm saying? Like just looking at that, like he looks like he's got this kind of. I'm serious. Look at that.
I wish I
Yeah,
could
dude,
see
it's a
this, but I
really-
can't.
The dude has a really shapely
It could
ass.
be like a yeah. It's
Yeah, burly.
I saw people turned on by this.
Okay, I might.
Yeah, this is GC9x After Dark.
That should be the T-shirt slogan. This
DC.
this Star Wars Commandos kind of turned me on.
This textural image gonna turn me on.
It's like he's like better going than coming. You know? It's like he's like you see him come, and he's like, oh, is that guy? But once he starts to turn, it's like it's surprisingly shapely. Like
Xerxes.
such a weird design.
Salvo helmet and very fantastic manliness. That's
I'm just saying. Like,
These are the values that GC9X has hoped to instill in future listeners.
justice, commitment, discipline.
Thinking obscure Star Wars side characters of nice asses.
I'm sorry. You just
I'm just
reminded
saying.
them.
No, look. I mean, it's totally androgynous from behind. It could like I mean, maybe they were planning on creating like a female version of this as well, and they just didn't want to reuse the back sprites. I don't know. Did you guys know? Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to share before I go. I was looking at the Cutting Room Floor wiki the other night. You look up Metroid, and it turns out there's like in the game, there are like sprite resources for entirely different poses for Samus, including a non-mirrored like left-facing pose, where you can see like the other side of her body, rather than seem like the same side no matter which directions it turns.
Hey, Xerxes,
And there's apparently, yep.
Can I talk to you about some IRC before you go?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you now.
So they had unmirrored sprites, was what you're saying, for Samus at some point, but they removed them?
Yeah.
Wonder
Well,
why.
they just didn't go with using it. They might not have been satisfied with it, and just decided to leave the game as it was. It could have been an accident. I don't know. A lot of things about that game were probably accidents.
Yeah.
I will say though, I'm looking over the thing myself, and I like how they had characters to differentiate the zeros and the O's in the US release.
Well, you put a little slash through it, that helps immensely.
Yeah. Great for readability, especially in password-based stuff like this.
Yeah. Also, like the shows like there's a different right leg sprite or something, or left leg sprite for when you go down an elevator. Like Samus faces the camera essentially, and it's a completely like uniform body. Like both sides look the same, but I guess they were working on. They had a version of the sprite for one of the legs that would actually place it in the background, and the other leg kind of in the foreground. Like she's sort of. It's like a much better. There's much better sprite work on that game than was actually used. It's kind of sad. Like the original suitless Samus also was better, which also suggests to you that there are parts of the FDS game that were unfinished, namely the suitless Samus that only exists in the Western password versions.
You know, I'm wondering if this is also partially a budget issue. I don't think
so, because they did it. They created that sprite artwork. I mean, the guy who does that stuff can do it pretty quickly. Like they designed it on graph paper, and back in those days, and then they would just put it in, and it's all in the game. It's in the game. It's just not accessed by the game's code, so you never see it. Yeah. It's all in there. There's like an alternate version of the suitless that has a much more rationally sized arm cannon. It actually looks like it is on top of an existing hand rather than replacing an entire arm.
And you mentioned they'd use graph paper. They would probably use graph paper for this. I would have thought they would use something like Lux Paint or something.
They didn't have access to the Lux Paint at the time.
They designed the sprites on graph paper, and then they would program in it. But in the earliest NES games, almost everything was done like in just code, like straight up. Like Hip Tanaka, the guy did the music for just about every early NES game ever. I guess just coded the music directly into it in whatever the assembly language was or something like that. And that's why when you listen to his music, apparently he says that's why it sounds so much more mathematically precise than other NES songs. Like even the songs for Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Brothers, those sound a little bit more natural and loose, whereas stuff from like Dr. Mario or Ice Climbers, Urban Champion sounds really, really exact. Or most importantly, Balloon Fight and Gyromite are probably his best work. But that sounds really, really razor sharp precise. Like,
why is that exactly?
Really true. Well, he's I don't know, but he says it's because he didn't write the music first and then transpose it into the game's code. He would just write the music in code. So like everything would be exactly timed down to the, I don't know. Maybe it's not true. I don't really understand this area of NES game creation. I just know that's what he says. But yeah, the thing about graph paper, it does seem surprising, but really, what else would they do? Like, why wouldn't you use graph paper?
Yeah, I was thinking something like PC Paint or some, yeah. But then again, that's just the perspective of someone who's used to working with like GraphX2 and all that for their pixel art.
I wouldn't be surprised either if they did originally, like the original designs on the paper were just monochrome, like with just like black or white squares, like they might just use like a Sharpie essentially.
Yeah,
they could have probably used other ink colors though. They probably could have used different kinds of ink, because I have seen that. I've seen them use graph paper before, but they actually use slightly different kinds of ink for each of the colors.
I was thinking maybe like more those cross hatching or something.
Probably not cross hatching.
Yeah.
somebody should really do like a kind of, I mean, I hate to talk about the NES more, since it's pretty much all I do, but the evolution of the character sprites in NES games is really peculiar. In that, like, it's you really don't get this in any other platform that I'm aware of. Arguably with the Game Boy, but I really don't think so. Where like the games start out with a certain sprite style, where they use the maximum amount of colors they can, to get like the, because they're like, oh, well, let's use all the colors we can. We can use 3 colors plus transparent. Yeah. So let's just use it. So like the original Mario sprite is like using 3 colors plus transparency. And then like by the end of it, like the characters would have almost no color definition or differentiation.
Like
and
I
they
say,
did everything with like cross hatching.
Like say the
Super Mario Bros. 3,
or Kirby from Kirby's Adventure.
Do you mean?
I mean Kirby is kind of a monochrome character or a low color character, but like look at the Mario sprite from Super Mario Bros. 3. It's like his overalls are black.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the hell? It looks okay. It's weird that they went that minimal later on because they felt like it could get more. I mean, they were, you get more definition out of it because you're using borders to the edges of the character. It looks more like a line drawing, but you really lose kind of the colorfulness of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like Mega Man's a great example. Like probably like the ideal sprite because they use 2 sprites, so they could get an extra color in for his eyeballs.
I thought it was an extra color in for his face.
Just looks, and face.
Yeah, like his head
no
is
other
towards
part of him
the
is
sprites, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's his face actually.
I mean, Super Mario Bros. 2 did it. Contra did it. That was kind of like in between. Like that was kind of, in my opinion, like kind of the golden age of sprite art for the NES was like 1987, 88, 89. And then after that they were for the not minimalist but super Spartan, like let's just use one sprite, for the, we're not going to layer the sprites like they did with the original Mega Man and all that. I don't know. It's weird to me that there was so much change in such a short amount of time, and that basically the entire industry latched onto that change at the same time. So everybody was looking at everybody was looking at somebody else, and as a result, it just kind of, you see this wave of. It's weird to me that happens. I just don't see that happening in any other platform.
Actually, it's happened a lot with, if you look at the evolution of 3D graphics, it's worked out kind of the same way, where before, I don't know, like a lot of the low poly stuff, like there's a lot of variation and then they sort of settled on a certain style, and then the same thing happened this past generation with like the Unreal 3 engine games. Like you have these characters with these gigantic proportions that they might not have had a generation ago. Or even on the same system, like I think early 360 games, like they had more realistic proportions and such. It was more average looking, and then as Unreal the Unreal Engine and Gears of War sort of took off.
Was there that much change within a version of Unreal on a single platform from this is a really long generation, this one that just ended.
Holy shit, that's a ridiculous explosion.
Yeah, actually I think there has been, because they kind of circled back around to realism again, to make the characters look slightly more realistic. Like it was like sort of realistic but cartoony, to really beefy muscle men, to back to sort of somewhat realistic, like more constrained proportions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's more of like an artistic style, though. That's not like a
limitation of the medium.
Limitations of because you can't. The limitations are not that defined. It's like you can't get much more limited than you have 3 colors plus transparency. That's what you can do. It's.
There are some limitations on polygons, which I assume is also why they went with the whatchamacallit, the meaty, beefy guys, because they're easier to see, and it's also easier to model because they're larger. If you try to do fine detail, it either requires more polygons or it's just hard to see, so it's kind of pointless. Like you can kind of see it with the way textures have worked too. Like there's been this push to that saran wrap look, and that's because they can get more detail out of a low-res texture with some sort of like filter put over it that gives it definition than they can out of a really high-resolution texture that would have that sort of stuff baked in.
Who's the guy we had? I always forget his name. Who's the guy we had for the Vagrant Story podcast?
That was Zogbog.
Zogbog. He would know. He would be able to explain this to us very well. He would know exactly what's going on. But yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I think you're right. It's hard for me to notice that.
The Genesis was like that too. Like there was a period of time, like especially in American graphics and American games, where they all had this sort of really gross look to them. And as time went on, they slowly sort of evolved this more cartoony sort of style. Like it was less gritty.
It doesn't look like garbage. Yeah.
Are you talking about something like Altered Beast or something like the STI games?
No, I'm talking more about the American-developed like Sega games. But you know that's true for the Japanese games too. They changed style drastically with time.
Yeah, the Altered Beast sprites look kind of gross, but they're just using as many colors as they can. You know, like we have all these colors disposals. We're just going to use them all. These guys' pecs are going to be out of this world. They're going to blow your mind. These pecs.
It's a bit like the sprites in a China Warrior were ridiculously huge, right? Like there's
they could do it's like the attention paid to the muscles on the Altered Beast guys is pretty incredible. Like it doesn't look good, but they do look like muscles, you know?
Yeah.
Those dudes have muscles.
Oh, hey, this game's a lot nicer than Power Slave in that it actually gives you... It refills your lives at the start of a stage. That is very nice, actually.
Okay, I'm going to check out. So we're just going to stick with the TekWar part of it, right? Is it the quote-unquote podcast?
Yeah.
All right.
I think this one turned out actually pretty well.
Very strange, but given the subject matter, I don't think this podcast could have turned out any other way.
At least it was funny. It was making me laugh.
By the way, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm not shutting down the call or the stream just yet, Arjun. So
yeah, no,
I'll probably play a little bit further and then shut it down.
I'm an old man.
I'm actually freaking psyched to finally got involved with all this.
Yeah, me too.
You should. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't be psyched, but you should be involved. It's great. Yeah. Like it's not really that special. It is pretty much just me with a microphone at a certain point where like I talk like this all the time to nobody.
They take the mystery out of it, Zerks. That's my first word in like 10 minutes. I had no idea what to say for the NES technical stuff. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. Don't worry about it. I think I've been a little quiet.
Now it's a window, so I can't shoot any if I wanted to.
Tech-fueled late-night bull session. All right. Peace out and tech on.
See you later, sir. Take care and peace.
Thank you. See ya.
Now, don't tell anyone he's actually going to get ramped off by some hobos.
What's this about hobos now?
Now, don't tell anyone he's actually going to go to some seedy urban location and turn into a ramp.
He's just gonna like stiffen up and just like collapse, and kids are gonna do like wicked sick stunts off his spine.
That was the best discovery of your
Yeah, where I was just doing it. Well, I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just in my way, so I just ramped off him. It's just it's the kind of video game logic that can only work in an FPS game like this. You do that in something more recent, and people are be like, "What the fuck is up with this? Like, why am I ramping off this hobo?"
This is why video games today are inferior.
Yeah, the rad jumps. I know why. They're lacking in rad jumps, and that's what makes Skate 3 great, because it has rad jumps.
But does it have hobos as ramps? Is the question. Does it have wicked sick hobo ramps?
The last game that had the most recent game I've played that had wicked sick hobo ramps is like Tony Hawk 2, I want to say. Wait, was that 2 or 3? I can't remember. Was the one with the Magic Bum in Venice Beach?
I don't know.
Magic Bum from what now?
One of the Tony Hawk games had you trying to jump over hobos.
I vaguely remember this much.
Yeah, Ollie the Magic Bum.
Ollie the Magic Bum location. Is this... yeah, the Venice Beach level from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yeah. So it can be said that Tony Hawk 2 is the sequel to TekWar because it also had you jumping over hobos.
Oh yeah, Ollie was a playable character in 3, now that I think about it. His board was basically a 2-plank panhandle sign.
Did it have the I hate everyone text from Die Hard, I want to say it was?
I'm not sure. But
yeah,
that series used to have so much, be surprisingly entertaining.
Like the series is pretty much where my taste in music came from.
I see. That's timeless sensitive.
Good man. Yeah. It's where I first heard about Primus.
And Ramones and all that too.
Good.
Like now that I have more experience with like punk and all that shit, I can say they had a good selection going there.
You know,
never use the mines. Those are so worthless.
It's amusing we're talking about Tony Hawk right now because I just realized that Neversoft is dead.
They just got eaten by Activision, didn't they?
By Infinity Ward, no less.
And then Infinity Wards are gonna get this is already pretty much a corpse now.
Yeah, it seems like I don't know how to describe it. It's like I shouldn't care because Neversoft hasn't been relevant for a while, but it's still kind of depressing. All this.
It's the personal significance. Like I always wanted to be a skateboarder, but I just played Johnny Hawk instead because my sense of balance was too terrible for me to actually do anything. I just pretty much like fell on my back as soon as saying.
I know nobody's really been talking about it, but I really hope that new Wolfenstein is good.
Yeah.
I've heard it is.
Yeah, it's actually shaping up to be pretty damn cool from what I've seen. It seems like you can either do things the stealthy way or the Rambo way, depending on for many segments. I don't know what all the down talk about it is. I mean,
it's not Call of Duty.
I think people are worried it's going to be really linear, like Call of Duty or something.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing in and of itself. I mean, I'm going to be honest. While much as I do love old school RPGs, I don't like key hunting. When in particularly.
Did you say old school RPGs?
Oh, jeez, I did, didn't I? But Ultima Underworld. That's what I'm talking about now.
That was also sort of a first-person game, though.
Yeah, it's.
Wasn't it kind of like an early precursor to System Shock?
I have terrible aim. Doesn't help that there's no mouse look in this game. Doing this all with the keyboard. It's weird. The Steam version of this, which is actually what I have, it's just this game with DOSBox launcher attached to it.
I was trying to play Jedi Knight earlier, but the graphics were all googly. That has to be.
Yes, I forget what causes that.
Yeah,
there's a fix.
I'm sure it can be fixed. I just can't be arsed to do so right now, and I seem to have a little bit of heartburn. Oops.
That is gross.
Yeah, I can do better. I'm not going to because I don't want to disgust a bunch of people.
I don't want to make this a one-up of you grody-ness.
That was great, though. Just you guys trying to burp worse than each other. We should have recorded that.
Yeah.
I remember at some point where Arjun, you, and me, and Doc just had a karaoke night apropos of nothing.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And I think I might have started singing Mr. Bungle songs at Zenith at one point.
Wow.
I still don't get the appeal of that comic. I haven't read it yet, though, but it's just funny that that's an in-joke with us for some reason.
Yeah, it's pretty much the weirdest Snatcher sequel you could ask for. And was that one of those little mouse robots down there?
Yeah, you see a bunch of those. Those are actually 3D models, too.
Yeah,
cool. See, I figured that considering the period this game came out in, Raven would have just cheaped out and used sprites for him, but they actually put the effort in. It seems like they actually did put a lot of work into these.
I recall I actually have to get on the top of this elevator at some point.
We know the really bad joke about why today is Star Wars Day, right?
No.
Yeah, may the 4th be
yes.
Yeah, may the 4th be with you. Womp womp womp.
It's still technically the 3rd for me, so your joke just fell flat. Like a doofus.
In general, funnier than I actually.
Time zonery. Wait, it's 2 a.m. now though.
Yeah, but you're 3 hours ahead, so it's only 11 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to push for 3 a.m. tonight. I usually.
Let's see if I can beat this level, but if not,
is this
I'm going to.
because Arizona doesn't observe daylight savings?
It is, and that's the greatest thing in the world. Don't have to reset my clock.
Son of a.
Don't have to do any of that nonsense.
You gloaty.
Yeah, I'm going to gloat about it. It's one of the few things this state has done right. One of the few.
Yeah, I'll give it. I'll give it that. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Again, being debatably the coolest part of the United States. I know, I just like deserts and stuff.
Yeah,
I want to own real estate on the exact point where the Four Corners is.
You probably don't want to, because that's where the hantavirus is located. It's a cell
really?
for the hantavirus, yeah.
Well,
Oh, wow, whoa.
Wait, where's the Four Corners again?
It's between Utah, Wyoming, I think Colorado. No, wait, that's not it. I'll look it up.
I was kind of considering moving to Colorado when it's not a college, but I think I'm gonna
Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona.
Yes.
Or just staying around here.
Oh god, these are blaster-proof walls. Bullshit.
Wait. There's a New Mexico?
Yes, there is.
Sorry, I got that gag from Simpsons.
I know where you got it from.
Don't forget about
I saw what you did there.
Mexico.
I know what you are, and I saw what you did. Ain't that a drag?
There's also a New Amsterdam, but it's an obscure French research island.
Okay.
Hey, Amsterdam? Yeah.
You mean the
I think I'm actually gonna quit for
capital
now.
of the world?
Yeah, kind of, if your prostitutes are unusual kinds of birds and rocks.
Alright, so I think I'm going to shut down the stream for now. So you saw one immensely terrible game and a brief little bit of an actually decent playable game.
Yep. So the moral of the story is playing TekWar is a pretty bad idea.
It's a bad idea for everybody, as you have just seen. I will say this, though. There are some interesting things about the game, and that's namely the weird non-linear structure.
I think...
And the almost open-world aspect to it. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And you can just tackle things in any order, and, like... You can tackle them in any order. You can sometimes skip levels and objectives. I don't know. It's just very strange.
I also like how they actually tried to make the maps look like things, too. Like how things actually kind of look like a city sometimes, even if it isn't the most playable.
Yeah. There's a game here that could have been good or at least passable had they put the time and effort into actually finishing it, but they probably couldn't because of the terms of the license agreement that they had to make this game in the first place.
I mean, and if they hadn't been Capstone.
Yeah, the pinnacle of entertainment.
It is one of many examples of any given video game not getting the proper time and budget to get worked upon, and
or the proper developer.
And that's where mediocrity usually tends to come from. Just not enough chutzpah behind.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. So this has been a stream. Peace out, folks.
Keep your fingers. Crap. I'm trying.
Yeah. No. You screwed it up. No.
Winners, stay the hell away from tech. That's our instinct.
Yep. Stay away from tech, otherwise I'll never be able to finish with some of my witty statements.
Tick, tick, and dot.